I've always seen around 2027, 2028 to be a pivotal time. The earthquakes, the volcanoes, the floodings. We're going to go through a whole load of chaos because nothing can balance itself without eradicating the thorn in the side. I had a little chat with Jesus and he said there's new DNA being reactivated that has sat dormant in our bodies for thousands and thousands of years since the Anunnaki. The shift isn't coming, it's here already. This ascension is changing our biological structure so that we're lighter. The Schumann resonance, the heartbeat of the planet and Gaia, has risen up to align with the frequencies of crystals and make them even stronger than they've ever been on the planet. The controlling element of this planet, it's fighting a losing battle. The powers that be have tried to keep us closed down because we are the truth. This download was of 3 major happenings that are going to be brought down to the planet from the galactics and angel realms. I don't want to give too much away. There's this this fundamental feeling that you know that the afterlife is there, you know where they've gone, it's a transition, it's a step up, but that doesn't help when you're in the 3D element of watching them pass. Darren's was absolutely horrific. We were on holiday in Spain and he had a heart attack in the sea. And so to try and resuscitate him in the sea and watch his life force go and then see Archangel Azrael and Gabriel. So I had a shared death experience with him. So I was kind of bumping in between, if we want to put a tag on it, 3 and 5D. So there was one minute I'm like looking at him thinking, oh my God, I can't resuscitate him. You know, I'm an ex-cop. I'm trained to do this and I didn't know what to do because he's on the water. It was just terrific. And then there's the angels coming in, Archangel Azrael, that takes souls up. And I'm like, F off, fluff off, go away. So people obviously are seeing from the shore me shouting into the middle of the sea thinking she's losing it. And I was. He was my soulmate, Darren. We'd come together for nearly 6 years. As soon as I saw him, it was love at first sight. And I knew from all the trauma I've had in all my life that he was brought to me and I was brought to him to find true bliss, true love and everything. And then suddenly it'd been taken from me. And, you know, I have to admit, when the police come round, I knew he'd gone because the angels were there. I sat up in the ether with him, looking down on the whole experience. And I knew that he had been taken to the spirit world or gone to the spirit world. And when I went back to the hotel, I thought, I'm going to go with him. You go through the same human feelings. I can't do this anymore. Why are you punishing me? We're not being punished. But you go through all of that. Why take him? And there is this intrinsic energy that runs through you that makes it like a theatre. So when I was trying to resuscitate him, you know, when we were back on the land and when I was trying to bring him back, there was me up there with him. It was just such a weird experience because I was watching the theatre of what humans go through while I was up there. Obviously, from there, his family didn't want him moving on. They'd all moved on. We'd been together for years, but his ex was very, very vitriolic. And so before we even got Darren's body back, they were breaking into our business, our crystal business. They wouldn't let me view him. I couldn't go to the funeral. I have no idea where he is now. I've had no closure whatsoever. So what do you do with that? First of all, you have to have a faith and a knowledge. Faith sometimes to me feels like a belief. I know that I have an invisible team of angels, spirit guides, my spirit loved ones saying, we've got you, Nicky, we've got you. But you've obviously got to honour, you know, the human aspect of this as well, go through the grief. So I was literally sedated for the first month or so. I just couldn't handle the trauma of doing this and watching it and witnessing it and not being able to get my closure and watching them just take everything, all my stuff, just everything, taking stuff from his house that just the whole lot was gone. Them banging on the door, the police turning up because they were demanding this and that. And so firstly I did ceremonies. I literally would sit with either candle gazing or I'll go on the beach under full moons and just ask for them to assist in healing me. And, you know, I even went down in my PJs. Went to the beach in my PJs once because I thought, I don't care what I'm dressed as. I don't care what I look like. I need to honour this spiritual healing. I need to honour what's going on. I'd seen him a couple of times up there and he was really excited. And I'm like, oh, great. One of the times he came through, he was, and this is through meditation. This is what you need to try and do. It's really hard because you're trying to fight, I want him back, and all the normal, stages of grief. But then you've got to honour what you've been taught, the tools you've been taught from previous trauma. So I had them all. Crystals, I need these crystals, I need these ceremonies. And he'd come through on his motorbike with his sunglasses on in Arizona. And I'm like, glad you're having a nice time. He said, oh, I just want to go and have a look at this part of the world. And then two people, one was a follower on my channel, said, I dreamt of Darren last night. He was in Arizona. And then one of my psychic friends phoned up the following day and said, I've just dreamt of Darren. He was on a motorbike in Arizona. So he so that kind of thing kept me going because he knew the rules of the game. He didn't want to come to me and then not bring, this proof that he actually was this. He would visit other people wearing the same clothes. He still does it to this day. So because of me being conscious of trying to keep my vibration as high as possible, even though I was in hell down here, it gave me that access to know where he was and what he was doing. And so I was just kept working on myself. I got a counsellor, I got a hypnotherapist to get rid of all of these layers of pain, hurt, resentment and hate towards, what his family had done, desecrating his memory and our connection together. So I did what humans do. And I've actually got the grief program, which I did to show people how to spiritually heal and how to do it, physically, because I was a bereavement trained detective and I dealt with murder victim families and rape victims. And so I kind of knew the tools, but they go straight out the window. I don't know about you, but I'm like, okay, so it's going to be denial, then it's going to be guilt, then it's going to be anger. Oh, no. You jump
Yeah, when you're
from
popped
one
in the
to
driver's
other.
seat, it's very different to when you're driving from the passenger side, yeah.
Exactly. You're just jumping all over the place. But the one solid thing was my journaling, my talking in the mirror, me doing either crystal gazing or looking in my granddad had a Victorian scrying mirror, because obviously I go back generations and generations of mediums, psychics and healers. And so I'd sit in that. I would literally just keep asking and invoking the angels. Archangel Raphael for healing, please walk with me. Michael, give me the strength to move forward. Give me the courage. Give me something to go towards. And my tribe, my followers were the people that kept me going. They gave me the motivation to do diaries of what happens with grief, and it turned out that helped thousands and thousands of widows and people that were going through grief. So everything in my life has been about serving humanity. So when I got the connection with my guide Juliana, so one of them, he said, this is soul contract. I went, really? And straight away, like lots of people that don't get this say, well, I didn't sign up for that. Yeah, you did. We're eternal souls. We have multiple experiences down here on the earth plane. We choose to do this, and we choose as we get older and evolve. Our souls are like, well, I don't just want to come down, win the lottery or be Mariah Carey. I want to go through pain. I want to experience me losing my soulmate. I want to experience me losing my home instability, which happened to me. I've literally had every loss you could imagine. And the whole point of my soul contract this time round was, as a spiritual ambassador, was to show people how I got through it. So I show people the rawness of who I am. So if I feel like pants and I really feel rubbish, I've got no makeup on, I'm in my PJs, I'll do it. I don't care. And I show people how to get through it. And I'm not, oh, look at me, look how clever I've been. I'm literally, this is really, really horrible, but this is what I did. Give it a go if you want, because it helped me. And the signs and synchronicities, we're coming up to Darren's first anniversary, the 29th of August, and 11 was always the number, and 8. 11, 8, that's all I kept seeing before he passed. We even had a huge white feather on the plane going out to this holiday. I didn't even want to go there. I don't know why I didn't want to go. I think it's because I suffer with ME and I have chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia from a road accident. That's another story. And I just thought, this feels more foreboding. The table we sat at the night before he passed was 11. And it was just all kind of, I don't know what's going on here. But the synchronicities then swap round to say, we've got you. So there's how many feathers I've picked up that have dropped on my face, the numerology, the people that have been brought into my life. I've had a whole team come to me and say, right, this is what we're going to do for you. We're going to do this for your social media. And it's not about social media, but it is, because it's my job to reach thousands, millions of people. And then, right, we're going to start buying crystals for you because, the public have helped you. Let's start doing what you had stolen from you. And literally all of this jigsaw puzzle that had been smashed to pieces, the universe just plopping the pieces back in and creating the picture. And that's when you know that the universe has got you. Because if you fight against that and you sit in your ego system, which is whatever it is, and quite rightly, you can for a while, pain, whatever it is, grief, trauma, bereavement, whatever it is, you don't get anywhere in the end. You have to have some point where you aspire to, I really surrender now. Can you assist me? And I had 5 years in bed after a road accident with a brain trauma injury, and I lost everything. I was homeless. And they taught me everything that I needed for this particular trauma. And so it's not as if I've nailed it. I'm still in deep grief now, and it's his first anniversary coming up. But it's just, we've launched the company, if you like, my new crystal thing, Karma, because they've delivered it to me, because it was taken from me. And I've noticed with this transitional energy we're in at the moment that karmic references or karmic cycles of all of us works very rapidly. So if you start putting out, I would like this, I would like that, and create that quantum reality of what you would like for your future, you can shape it and it will be delivered to you. And that's all I've done. But if you now take that to 3D level, where people don't believe in this, they don't aspire to use their original chromosomic energy, their original knowledge, then what do they do? Do they, unalive themselves? Do they just stay in that energy for the rest of their lives? I have no clue how they get through trauma and any challenge on the planet. So I'd rather go through this and have the tools than go through a whole human, essence of darkness until I go back home again. Wouldn't you? It's just, I can't, it's crazy to me. And yet, I call them sheeple. Perhaps it's quite condescending, but the sheeple that come in, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're a weird, Harry Potter girl and all the rest of it. And I'm like, good, because I'm the one that's sitting here now, not even a year on, well, nearly a year on. And I've published a book. I've literally reached out to the public. I've gone to events and I've got the most beautiful people around me, new friends, new life structure, new everything. And I've even got a puppy coming that I've rescued from Macedonia that just popped up because I asked Darren whether I should get one or not. The following day, this random photo turns up and I wasn't even a member of the group. And literally, they will give you back what you've lost and then some. And this is what I keep trying to show people. Because the thing is, darling, I don't know if you agree with this, but I'm sure you do, because you are a very old soul, is that, every single powerful state within this planet has taught us that we are just ants. They've literally, through the whole of time, tried to segregate us, fence us, box us in and say, you don't know anything, you're not capable of anything, you're nobody. But now we're here at the best time ever, where those boxes are being broken down and people are going, hang on a minute, there's something else out there and I think I'm part of it. And this is the beauty of why we're here now. I can see why Darren went home. We needed to experience bliss because I'd never had a really blissful relationship in my life, and neither had he. And then it's like, right, I go home because you've got to carry on the message, darling, and you won't do it with me here because all we used to do is go on holiday. So I'm here doing the message. And sometimes
Get
I
back to
don't
work.
like it very much.
Get back to work. Interesting. Hey, there's this interesting moment in there where you were actually resuscitating Darren on the beach and simultaneously you're outside looking in
Yeah.
and witnessing it happen. Can you explain that? Or just describe it? No, maybe not explain it, but describe it.
I've been able to astrally travel and look at myself from my soul perspective since I was a baby. I've been able to do that, and I've been able to see things. And then I say to my mum, "Did that just happen?" She's like, "Yes." How do you know that? But they weren't surprised because we could all do it. So it's like trying to explain breathing, really. But what I was doing was, when I was straddled on top of him pumping his chest, and I was screaming out instructions to all the people that were there for the mouth breaths and all the rest of it. And then I just felt myself watching me. I was like out of my body, and perhaps skeptics might say, oh, it was just your shock response. But then I was up with him, looking down. We were on these rocks. It was the closest place to get on these, like this little rocky ledge. And I was looking down and I'm going, Darren, don't do this. Please come back and be a near-death experience so we can sit on the channel and go, what happened when you died and came back? And I went, please. He went, I'm so sorry. And all he kept saying was, I'm so sorry. And I was looking down, and then suddenly, boom, I was back in my body again, back in the human police train, let's get this done. But I knew he'd already gone because I had to get him from the sea. This is a problem. The 3D people of the planet got all their phones out. Nobody thought about wading into the water to assist me. And thank goodness there was this, snorkeler there who literally just grabbed him, and he was huge, man, and he just grabbed him in, and that was it. And then everybody started coming. Within minutes, there was a defibrillator. And then when this beautiful lady, God bless her, oh my goodness, I hope she finds me on here because I can't thank her enough. She was like an earth angel, I can't tell you. She led me away because I didn't want to stop doing the work. I wanted to bring him back. So she pulled me away, and we walked around this rock area so I couldn't see what was going on. And that's when I came down from where I was with Darren, and then I was looking out, and I remember I was rocking, and I could see a creamy white mist to the left, which I know Azrael because I've caught him on photographs. Plus, I've seen him since I was a child. That energy, no image, no like angel standing there or wings. It was just, that was there. There was a boat sitting there, a type of R&I boat was sitting there. And above him and in front of him was like a fog. And then to the right was glittery gold, which is Gabriel. I don't know what he was doing there. Perhaps he was just being nosy. And he was there, and I was going, don't take him. Don't do this to me. I've had too much loss. Don't do this. Don't do this. And it just stayed there. And telepathically, in between my rage and my fear and every single thing that goes through you when you're going through a horror like that. Sorry, I keep itching my nose. I know Julianis is here, so my nose itches, so please pardon that. And it wouldn't go. It stayed there constant. And so I knew telepathically, because at one point he goes, we're going to take him home. We've got you. I said, I don't care. I don't want you having me. And again, I went through the rants like I did when I had my road accident and became homeless. I'm like, what are you doing? This is the only good thing I've ever had in my life. We've had like nearly 6 years of absolute bliss with a perfect match. We were. Do you know that couple where you're like, they make me sick, they're so in love, and you can't stop holding hands and adoring each other? The chemistry was off the scale. It literally was a match made in heaven down here. And the anger, and I've said it before in interview, I literally went back to the hotel alone. The police told me he'd passed. Thank goodness they gave me half an hour with him. So again, I choose to look at that as either Azrael or Gabriel as the messenger angel came in and said, give her half hour with him.
Some sort of divine intervention.
Yeah, because he said, because normally, I'm not being rude to the Spanish police, but it's like, we're done. So it's lucky I can speak a bit of the language, so I was doing all right. I've got a hair now on here. Now I've got it. And I went and laid with him, and they just literally left me there as long as I wanted. They were brilliant. And so that's when I said my goodbyes. Thank goodness we had these handfast, like marriage bands, if you like. We weren't legally married, which is what created the problem, because he never made a will. So they just scavenged everything before he even got his body back. and then he had an ammonite on, so they took that off. And so I just want to go into the power of the collective, because I went from going to the hotel, opening up a load of tramadol, sitting there thinking, I'm done now. I've had too much pain, trauma, abuse in my life. I'm done. I don't care about helping humanity anymore. I'm done. You really are taking the mickey now. Not happy. And so I sat there looking at the tablets, and then my brother was coming out, and I thought, do I really need him to be dealing with a double death? So I phoned the doctor instead and said, you need to get here now. I am freaking out. I want to die. You need to help me now. And I don't remember much else because I was really heavily sedated. But the power of the collective is that people, when I talk about people coming out of the woodwork, if you see this, so obviously I didn't have any ashes. I wasn't allowed to go and view him. Even my GP phoned the funeral home and said, this is outrageous. She is his next of kin. You know, this is ridiculous. No, the daughter is, and it's like, anyway. So someone called Wendy Kemp, who was someone that followed me on the channel, and this is what the power of the Age of Aquarius is about, the collective, right? People come in and they've got you. So it's not just our invisible army, it's the collective in your tribe. And so she made this. So what she did was she goes, you must have something of Darren's. I went, I've got bristles from his like shaver. Perfect. She goes, what else? I said, well, I used to love the side of his neck. I could do a bit of material from his t-shirt. Brilliant. So this is some material from his t-shirt that I cut out here that used to touch his neck. So that's in there in an amethyst in angel wings. And then here, because I lost my 2 dogs as well. So I not only lost him, I lost my 2 babies as well in the same year. So it was just been horrific. And so what she did was she put his bristles in the amethyst, Teddy in the blue, and Mia in the pink orgonite, and then fur imprints. For nothing. She just literally said, I want to do this for you. And the love and kindness that comes to you when you find your tribe, they could be a total stranger, but they have no ego. They just want to be there to pick someone up in the collective, no matter who they are, with no ulterior motive. And that is the beauty of living in this sensational frequency we find ourselves in now of the collective and being in your soul tribe, because no matter what horror happens, you're held. It's as simple as that.
Inspired souls, lumen beings, I wanted to take a moment to thank all of you that are subscribed to this podcast. Everything you see around here is powered and empowered by your subscription to this channel. It would not be what it is without you and this co-creation. So thank you so much. Yeah. And to all of you that haven't yet subscribed, please do take a moment. And many of you who actually think you have subscribed haven't. So check it out. Look at the button below. If it says subscribe, you haven't yet subscribed. So please do hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon, join the community, join the movement, spreading love, positivity, and wisdom like this around the planet. Thank you so much in advance for your incredible support in making this channel what it is. Thank you. It's actually really amazing feeling into the power of community. We recently launched a community here at the Inspired Evolution, and it's been phenomenal watching people from all different walks of life holding space. I think the youngest person's like 17, the oldest person's
wow.
88. Yeah. But like, you can just feel it's not about age, it's not about depth, it's not about, it's just this like-heartedness and that's all that matters. And some people have more experience, some people have less on their path, but no one's like, oh yeah, enough of that. Like there's no judgment. Like it's so amazing. Like the power of community at this particular moment in time. Like it's
absolutely right. And you know, the biggest reason they come to people like us, something's happened. Trauma, bereavement, some tower moment has happened where things have crumbled and they reach out and they connect with the same frequency they're in. And this is where we're creating this collective consciousness, because suddenly they're connected and they're opening up all of this beautiful, you know, origins of what we were once. We were all like Jesus. We all were connected to source. We were all completely aware of our galactic beings. We telepathically connected to anything that was around in whatever frequency we knew that we could attune to. And it's quite funny. I'm going to America in a couple of months' time, and I'm doing this presentation on how paganism and spirituality has literally been feared since the beginning of time. And if you look at how all of the symbols that represent the elements and represent the strength of who we really were, the deities of the sun, the moon, it's all like, look at Pan, the Greek elemental god that everybody revered for
The
wildness.
goat, the goat.
He's now half man, half goat. Recognise that fella? The pentagram. Recognise that now? 666, one of the most beautiful angelic numbers of balance and creativity and knowing your origin. Where does 666 come in? We've literally, the witch inquisitions, we have been plagued our whole time, even now. But the beauty is that through all this time, all of religion, churches, the powers that be have tried to keep us closed down because we are the truth. We are the truth. And so the pandemic was absolutely perfect because it brought everybody in watching the screens. And guess who's sitting there? Me and you, darling, and all the other wonderful spiritual
Absolutely. All
creators.
the beautiful souls tuning
Exactly.
in.
And so they're like, oh, let's just have a little
Culture.
look at this. Hang on a minute. I totally resonate with this. That's what happens to me. I don't believe it. And people are finding their tribes through this beautiful cultural shift. It's not great that people are stuck to their phones, but if they're watching people like us, welcome to the tribe and to your truth. And this is what's happening now. We are literally waking up and not wanting to listen to you're now in debt. You've now got, a disease that's going around killing people. You now have to do this. You're now segregated to do that. No, even religion, you're going to go to hell if you don't, answer to the word of God or whatever they say. And I'm not being anti-religion at all. All I'm saying is that the controlling element of this planet is losing. It's fighting a losing battle. And we find ourselves at the moment like a scared animal trapped in the corner. They're kicking out, trying to do whatever they can to defend the fact that they've been lying to us about everything, keeping us in our boxes. And because more of us are becoming aware, we're going to source, we're connecting with galactics, people are being inspired to create technology, to create things that make us live longer, all this kind of stuff. And we're not kind of listening to them anymore. So hence why I've been seeing it. I do global predictions now, and I've been seeing it, this civil unrise that's slowly bubbling, this rebellion that eventually is going to come to a huge climatic rush of no more, we're not having it. We're not doing it anymore. We're not listening to you anymore. This is what we want as a collective. And we can create that through our own strength as a collective. And I love watching it happen. And it's the same with, 11 years ago when I was laying in bed, as I was talking about, I had a download. And it was a very, very long dream. And it was the most incredible thing that I've ever witnessed in my life. It went on for 5 hours. And it was this most wonderful story that I thought was made of fiction. And I felt completely compelled to write it out, even though sometimes I wake up half blind, couldn't, move my hands, couldn't think, couldn't hold a pen. I literally, or type on a computer, I thought, I've got to get this out. So when I could just about, control my limbs, if you like, at that time, because again, the doctor said, don't think you're going to walk again. You're gonna be in bed forever. You're not going to have this. You're not going to have that. Oh, really? Well, the angels have told me different. So, and I'm sitting here now. Again, they can't make money from well people, can they? And so anyway, this download was of three major happenings that were going to be brought down to the planet from the galactics and angel realms. I don't want to give too much away, because the Earth is in crisis. So this was 11 years ago that this happened, this dream. And that's how I wrote Earthwalkers, which is a trilogy of books, which I thought were just going to be spiritual fantasy back then. And when I published the first one last year, I realised they're books of prophecy, but they're put under fantasy, spiritual fantasy, to bring people more into the fold because they won't read it otherwise. And the prophecy that's in that book that's taken place already is phenomenal. And it literally is about this massive new world, the transformation of us going from 3D to 5D. And I know people ban this around, but it's the easiest way to explain it because there's so many different frequencies, dimensions, timelines. So I'd like to do it in layman's terms and keep it 3D, 5D, you know what I mean? And it literally is, the planet is saying it's had enough. Gaia is rip roaring with this fire energy at the moment, going into air energy. And I don't know anything about astrology at all, apart from how it incorporates itself with tarot. And yet, and then the age of the dragon comes in, and then people say on my comments, "Oh, someone else said about that," and I'm like, I don't know because I only get it from source. But to know it's backed up by other beautiful influencers and creators, I'm like, wow, we're all talking the same talk here. And so, the earthquakes, the volcanoes, the floodings, we're going to go through a whole load of chaos because nothing can balance itself without eradicating the thorn in the side, if you like. So it's going to hurt pulling that thorn out, but then we can heal. And this is how we then move forward. And how do we move forward? Our new leaders of tomorrow. And who are they labelled as? Autistic, ADHD. Let's give them a label of disability because we know that they're the future. That, all of these wonderful children that are growing up now that are more connected to the universe than ever before will be our leaders. The ones that are verbally able to do this will be, I'm not doing that anymore. You're not doing that to animals anymore. You're not doing that to our forests. And they will be our leaders. It's an exciting time. It's an exciting time.
You mentioned the prophecy and that there was one of the elements was this inspired revolution, inspired evolution afoot for this new earth that's coming. Are you comfortable sharing the other couple of elements that were foreseen?
Absolutely. There's a couple of spoilers in it, but it's still well worth reading. What The Children of the Light, the first book, is about these gifted children who are chosen to be the vessels that can assist angels for the first time ever. It's never been done. The laws of the universe were rewritten by Metatron.
You haven't watched the telepathy tapes, have you?
No.
Oh,
No.
this is really trippy, yeah? Have you heard
I've
of it?
heard of them.
Okay, cool. You have heard of them. Okay, cool. I was just going to bring them into your frame of reference because I know you don't watch anything outside because you
No,
don't
I
want to
don't.
cloud the field.
Would it cloud the field if I watched them, or is it just evidence of what I've just said? I don't know.
It's pretty good evidence of well, they're proving that the non-verbal people can actually communicate in all these other ways, which are actually significantly more advanced than layperson like what you and I are doing. Like we're like, I don't want to sound like this, but two monkeys talking. But they can actually see what's going on in the other room. They're like clued in, dialed in. It's like really trippy, bro.
Do you know what? I might watch it then because I don't think that's going to ruin my soul at all.
I really don't think it will. I think it'll be like super affirming, and then
So what's happening there is, I will watch them. I don't think it's going to interfere with I get everything from source. Everything I share, they show it and then they prove it. From guides to angels to predictions. And part of this is that these kids that they're in these characters, they have got autistic tendencies. They're in a special home because they insist that animals can talk and trees can talk, and they insist that they don't want to follow religion. So there's all these aspects that are born from these children, and they are our future. This is insane. I've got to watch the telepathy tapes now.
The Diane Hennessy Powell, the psychologist behind all of it, is coming on the podcast next week. It's like totally a thing. It's a thing.
Oh my God, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to break my own role. And people are most probably saying now, what are you talking about? I literally don't watch the news. I don't watch any other person in this field because I worry. I've always got things from source, and I worry that I'm going to think, right, well, did I get that? Did I think it? So I don't watch it. And people say, oh, do you know so-and-so? No. Do you know so-and-so? No. Oh, that's what they've said. That's honestly, I don't even know who they are, and it pains me because I so desperately want to be connected with those people, but I can't. I know that I cannot do it because part of the Earthwalkers, part of this dream I had, um, it was in February. I think it was 2014. 11 years ago. No coincidence. It literally said that there are going to be two types of mediums because I always thought my time on here was to prove the afterlife, which I did diligently. I've been working for the last 35 years, so I'd investigate murders during the day and then do psychic evenings of a night. And I
No
got
rest, no rest for the wicked here. No, sorry,
don't
I
tell me
shouldn't say
about
that.
it.
I
No,
should be nicer.
no,
No
but it's
rest for the
absolutely
angels.
true. It's absolutely true. And then I got medically retired because I got a back injury, a horrific back injury. And then this called to me. My house was haunted. That's in another book. And my house was haunted, and they're like, "You are working for us." I didn't have a choice. So I thought I was here just to teach people how to develop, their psychic and mediumistic abilities because we've all got it, but we're told we haven't. But of course we have. We're all spirit in a human body. And then I was told that that's what I'd be here for. So then the awakening came when I went to one of the GSIC seminars, which is the Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection in Florida. I was invited there. And I started watching various presenters. I thought, well, I know that. I've seen that. I know that. This is the joke of it. I made a planet up in my book called Lemuria. I made it up. And then I only found this out about 6 months ago. It's an actual planet. It exists. And the Lemurian, and there's some people I've spoken to and said, what does that mean? They're like, well, obviously, you're talking about the Anunnaki. I went, well, that's the name I gave them. I thought that was made up. No. And I'm like, oh. So can you see what I mean? So what happens is they predicted that there are going to be two types of mediums in this dream. One is going to continue doing the afterlife stuff in a magnificent way, in a heightened way. But then there's going to be portal mediums. The portal mediums will be basically awakened or chosen throughout the planet, and they would blend instead with a spirit person. They will blend with all of the frequencies that are aligned to this planet as well as the planet. And I'm like, never in a month of Sundays, 11 years ago. But here I am with my
11 years later.
crystal ball 11 years later, because they literally, and it's only started about 4 or 5 months ago. I think it could be longer because of Darren passing. I'm a bit out with my timelines because they're racing along timelines like, woof, timelines are just not
Can
even
you believe
relevant.
it's August 2020?
No,
I
it's been
mean,
years
it
since
was
Darren
just last
passed.
week. It was November 2024.
I know. I know, right?
I'm still just like, what is happening this year? It's
Timelines. It's just all going boom. So literally, I was doing a meditation. That was it. I was doing my own meditation. I thought, right, I'm going to go up, just go and see Darren, go up and see what angel wants to bring me messages. It's just I do it every day. I can pop up within a second. So I popped up, had a look, and then suddenly I got brought back down, and they said, press the button. Press the button means record. I'm like, no, this is sacred. They went, no, this is what you need to be doing now. So I pressed record. They meant to put it on my channel, whatever, to show the humanity. And then I went up, and suddenly all these different people like Jesus, Saint Germain, who I'd never heard of. I know I'd never heard of him, and it's terrible because I never read about it. All these different philosophers, angels coming up, and they started predicting things that were happening on the planet. And they happened. Nearly every prediction I've ever said has happened within 2 hours to 2, 3 weeks after. And I'm like, wow, hang on a minute, is this what this portal mediumship thing's about? And so I went up and spoke to Julianus, and he said, yeah, you're one of those. You're now reading the planet. You are now representing the planet and bringing messages from those higher frequencies, whether it's galactic, seraphim, angelic, spirit world, spirit guides, and you are bringing literally news of the planet and waking people up down here as to what's going on. And I'm like, no pressure there then.
yeah. For your mind, it must be a lot to sort of process and navigate, wouldn't it? Like,
Darling, I've had to get a globe. One of the followers said, would it help to get a globe? because the problem is when I was at school, right, it was like rock formations and water cycles. I don't know where anything, I do know lots of places because I've been to them, but if you start talking to me about what neighbours Romania or what neighbours Brazil, I'm like, so I've got to get a globe now, because literally I do a reading for the planet and what's going on around it. I have no knowledge of astrology. I don't know about any. All I know is Lemuria, obviously. Sirius came up, so I had to ask my friend Elena. I said, what's Sirius? She went, you don't know about Sirius? I'm like, no. And, you know, Anunnaki, Lemuria, Sumerian, what was that? Emerald tablets Jesus told me about, never heard of them. And so these people are like, why did they choose you, Nicky? Because they chose me because I have no ego and I don't study or learn anything. I literally have the faith and trust to repeat what they tell me, and it turns out it's completely right, and that's great. As in, everybody else is talking the same things. Everybody else is prophesizing the same things, apparently, because that's what my tribe tell me. You know, my followers, because I won't go and Google it. And so and what I also do is, if someone says, oh, Nicky, you know, you said about the sandstorms in India, they happened the following day after you said about it, then my lovely girls that have been brought to me from the collective, from the universe, will then do all the research and create, you know, the shorts and all the rest of it. So I have nothing to do with the media, the news. I refuse to watch it. If I walk into a place, I'll politely ask, could you turn that off, please? Because I cannot be infringed by the ecosystems of our political leaders, our health organisations, you know, the medical, the big pharma, all of it. I can't allow it to get in my head. And so people like must think, I don't know what they think, because they're like, really, you don't know about that? No, I don't, and I don't want to know about it. And this is what's happening. You're saying with these telepathy tapes, these kids, they don't care about whether they're wearing Nike trainers or if they look cool at school. They don't care about, oh, I'm going to look really good if I do this. They don't care about bullying people or trying to control people. They're up there, and they've chosen to come down here and just sit with the peasants and teach them this is who we are. And there's this new, I think, who was it who told me? Was it Jesus? I know, didn't it sound random? Oh yeah, I had a little chat with Jesus. We had a cup of tea. And a biscuit. And he said there's a new, it's like new DNA is being reactivated that has sat dormant in our bodies for thousands and thousands of years since the Anunnaki. And he said that is going to, with the aid of the Galactics, I've found that the Seraphim are now on exactly the same frequency as the Galactics. That is why I've suddenly started getting information like the Sumerians and the Anunnaki and things I've never heard of, and blood types and things like that. And they're saying, yeah, that's going to be activated now because, you know, it's like an antennae to the rest of the universe, the multiverses. So like the beautiful, I assume, the telepathic tape children, we're going to do the same. Yeah, you can say that we're in debt, you can say we're in war, but we're not having that because we've been told about it from a different source. So off you trot. We're not going to put up with your BS anymore. And I can't wait for that to happen. And I can't wait for the new leaders who will all have autism. They'll all have ADHD. They'll all have that. And they'll be like, they will have that moral compass, that code, that spiritual code that has been lost within many of us to say, I'm not doing that. I'm not selling myself and doing that for you because it's wrong. We're not allowing this to happen to animals anymore. I've seen, you know, in the future, we won't be eating animals. They're sentient beings. They're the most intelligent, highest energy. They resonate exactly the same as the trees, the plants, the fauna, Archangel Ariel's energy. They resonate the same level as all these beautiful telepathic children. They're our future. Narnia.
Well,
Do you know Narnia?
wow, it's really interesting to hear your take on animals when so many people are, like consuming them daily.
But saying that, I can't eat them now. And, you know, it makes me feel ill even thinking about it now. And I wonder how many people will say the same. I've noticed it on my channel. I've said, "Have any of your eating habits changed?" Yes. And some of them are even saying, "I even feel guilty eating a carrot because it was dug up from the ground." But we were never supposed to eat them. We were never supposed to eat them. They were supposed to just be part of our tribe. And I can't do it. And my diet has really changed dramatically. And my sentience for any it's always been high, but it is even higher now. Sometimes, you have to go online to upload things and that. And then if I see something to do with an animal or a caged animal, it's like someone's just shown me the worst horror I've ever seen in my life. I've never felt so connected to the animal and the plant world. It's like, Danny, my lovely assistant, the other day I popped round for a cup of tea and I went, "I can't believe you're doing this. You're an elemental, you're spiritual. Look at your plants. They need repotting and watering." And I literally took all of her plants from her house and brought them into Plant Nicky Hospital, talking to them, because we're now in this beautiful frequency of sound healing and vibration, sound, light, crystal energy, the energy of Gaia, the beating of the Schumann resonance. Oh, we're in a beatific place. And that is what I need to show people, because they're getting too bogged down, don't you think, with war, disaster, weather, politics. We need to get above that.
It's hard, like you said before, the thorn. The thorn digs in. Yeah, and it's interesting because the thorn finds these unique ways to dig in, particularly to the way that each individual will pay the most amount of attention. And it's a structure and a construct, but it hurts. And I mean, it's remarkable to hear your story of like losing a loved one and then still finding the tools to because I mean, if there's ever a thorn, and you've both your dogs in the same year as well, and to hear you then talk through the process and share the way that you are, I mean, it speaks volumes. Speaks volumes in terms of, but I think a lot of people are going through a lot at this particular time. Overwhelm, tiredness, sickness, loss, grief. There's a lot of grief at the moment. Touch wood, there's a lot going on for people.
It's year 9, darling, which is towards the end of a journey. And what's happening is so many people have said to me, thousands, "Oh, what's going to happen if I go to the 5D and people stay in the 3D? They're going to poof off the planet. Are they going to disappear?" It's like, no, 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 no. What's happening is that lots of people are also breaking their relationships, whether it's with friends, loved ones, husbands, wives, spouses, because they're rising and awakening and they're not resonating on that level with their loved one anymore. So we're seeing a lot of breakdowns in relationships, but then they're open. Sorry, I know I keep itching my nose. It's Julianus. He's standing right next to me and he always makes my nose itch terribly. There could be worse ways to suffer having a guide right next to you. I don't know why he's here. I haven't got a clue, but I know he is because my nose is itching. So this raise of consciousness will change a lot. Some of you, yes, have had a soul contract. I've heard nothing but people passing, being widowed, people losing their children, and it's just like, wow. And it's because the soul contract is, you're going to be doing this, aligning yourself to this new consciousness. I've chosen to go home and watch you and help you from up there. Now, when we're up there doing our soul contracts with Metatron and our soul guides, we're because we're in utopia and because we're in perfection, we crave trauma, challenge, and human experiences. That's the whole point of what this planet's for. It's one of the most basic planets in the whole system of entirety. There's if you look at Lemuria, when they showed me Lemuria in my dream, which I thought was a made up planet back 11 years ago, they're just living in, they're manipulating water and thinking to each other. They're not speaking. They're in light. They're laughing in these beautiful mountain villages and whirlpools and waterfalls. And it's like we're This is a hard knock life, I'm telling you. So we're very brave and we're wonderful beings for choosing to come on this planet when we could go to other planets when we get to a certain level of our age, our soul age. And so there is this ending. It's going to happen. It's year 9, all of these endings waiting for this transitional change. I've always seen around 2027, 2028 to be a pivotal time where people will really start to see the thorn healing, and one of the things I said to Julianus a long time ago, I can't remember which trauma or bereavement I'd been through because I've had a few, and he said, it's very simple. He calls me Nicola. It drives me insane. It's very simple, Nicola. He said, I don't understand why humans always choose to walk through the desert when they have challenge. And so I said, what do you mean? He said, why not choose the Oasis? Why don't you sit by sparkling water that you can embrace the energy of and dive into? Why not sit and eat the fruits of the Oasis and be in the shade and be in comfort? Why do you all insist on starving yourselves of water and food and replenishment and drag yourself through a desert? You can choose how to deal with every challenge you have. If you want to stay in the desert, so be it. Suffer in the desert. If you want to be in the Oasis and think, what can I do to make this easier? Do it. And so every time I have a challenge, no matter how big or small, it's like, do you want to do the desert end, which is sitting there, rah, 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 why me? Why this? Or is it, what can I do to make this better for myself? How can I help myself get through this? How can I be my Jiminy Cricket?
Hey there, Inspired Souls. Spirituality is not something we just talk about here at the Inspired Evolution. It's something we live and breathe with our entire beings. Whether it's in your career, your life, the way you lead in the world, or your relationships, it's at the heart of the way we believe life should be lived. And so if you're feeling out of alignment, or you can feel that there's something more, or you're feeling like you're not thriving in life, touch wood, the way that you ought to be, then we've got guidance to take you even deeper. You've got support from me one-on-one, and you've also got a like-minded, like-hearted community masterminding, master-hearting together through guidance together. And you don't have to take my word for it. This is how people all over the world have transformed through guidance.
Everything just kind of fell into place, and now I'm on a path that I actually believe in and I'm excited about because I feel like I'm becoming my best self.
Over those 2 years, I have done so much. I can't believe where I am now. I'm thrilled where I am now. Not only was he a coach, but he became a divine presence in my life.
You can show up to Amrit with all sorts of chaos in your life and you leave feeling completely centered with some direction that is going to get you results. It's just magic when you're in coaching with Amrit. You just flow with it all.
I feel that I have access and connection to somebody who is deeply entrenched in my development.
If you're thinking about it, just do it. You won't regret it.
So what are you waiting for? If you feel the call, then join me on a call. amritsandhu.com/call. Link on screen now and also at the top of the description in the show notes below. Join me in a call. Let's dive in deep to your path, onwards, upwards, and inwards from here. I'm looking forward to seeing you in a call. Go on, I'll see you there. I think that's a really important point there because I remember, and I think especially for this podcast, people that are tuning in, super spiritual, super aware, and I'll just speak from myself, makes it easier. But I'm sure many can relate. I'd go through stuff, and as I was going through it, I'd be psychoanalyzing it as I'm going through it. And now I've got this sort of mission control feedback thing, which is like, Amrit, you're in the middle of something, assess after. Yeah, like just give yourself the space and to go through. But I used to go through the thing and then I'd be psychoanalyzing myself. What parts of this did I call in? What parts of this are me? Where have I done this to other people? And I'd just be like, you know those stone ground miller things like in India? I don't know, maybe you know, but in India, and you like grind flour to pull out, you know, like you grind, and it's like, and I'd be doing that to myself. I'd just be like crushing myself to be like, make sure you milk everything out of this lesson that you're learning. And I remember it was a very dear mentor friend lady of mine, Moz actually, and she turned around to me and I asked her this question. I was like, Moz, I keep doing this thing, and you know, I sometimes wonder, like, you know, am I being too hard on myself? And she goes, because I've got tools. I can find an oasis. I've got tools. Like I'm a coach and a guide, and I've got tools, and I can use those tools. But I don't want to miss out on what I meant to learn because I'm spiritually inclined. And she goes, yeah, you know, the wisdom of it. She just goes, Amrit, listen, life's hard enough at the best of times. and she just looked at me with that look, is like, you get it? And I was like, I really needed to hear that. I could just ease off. To your point, the oasis, you know, and the desert. It's interesting how we do that. I'm not sure we're masochistic. It's just it comes with the best of intentions in some ways.
Yes.
But there are other ways.
I think it's because we have this concept that we have to survive. And I went into this mode at the beginning. The vague memories I have the first couple of months after Darren passed, it's like, I've got to do something. I've got to move. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. It's survival mode. And so what we need to do is we need to appreciate that, give it a hug, but say, just calm it down. And then step away from that ego need to, I've got to find where my next point is. I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Because you're panicking, you're in complete fear, you're petrified, everything is completely upturned. And you're like, where do I go? I need an oasis. Bring in the oasis thing again. I need land to get foundation on. I need to do this. No, just be and sit, ground yourself, get your feet on the grass, get your crystals in. Sit there. And what I found really beneficial was on my voice memo, I'd just sit and talk to Darren. And then I thought, actually, I'm going to start talking to the universe. And then I'd work out in my own way from talking it out, because I thought, oh, my hand's hurting too much. Because I still obviously got the ramifications of my road accident. And my hands were like, God, I've done 10 pages now. So I thought, I'm going to talk it out. So what happens is if you talk it out on a voice memo, and just chat. It's almost like a counselling session with yourself, and allow yourself to express. Allow the throat chakra to do its thing and just let it flow. And then that will then in turn reach your heart chakra, which is a massive pivotal point of our energy at the moment, the heart chakra. Let that come out. I really hate you've gone. I hate this. I hate that. But I tend to be doing that. Actually, I think I'm being a bit unkind to myself because I've done this. And if you start talking to yourself, or mirror work, and if you start talking to yourself, you actually start finding the answers within what you're expressing. Because what we tend to do is keep calm, carry on, everything's fine. Yes, I'm sad, but I'll just go off and cry into my pillow and I'll come back and I'll carry on smiling because I don't want to bring people down. And this is another problem with empaths. We are normally the ones that help everybody else first. And then suddenly if we want it, it's like, oh, no, I can't ask for help. And my goodness, have I learned to ask for help and tell people I am rubbish today. I'm so bad. I don't want to be here. Please come round. Whereas before, I just turned the phone off and rot in my own misery, which was, the road accident days when I was laying in bed being told this is your life forever. And so by reaching up, even like short bursts of meditation, I do this power up meditation. It's about 15 minutes because you don't have to sit for hours just zooming it out. You can go and garden, you can go for a swim, you can go for a walk. Just send thoughts up. Is there any inspiration? Is there anything you want to bring me? Invoke angels for your particular problem. So they literally had an ASBO. It's like, I don't know if you have those over there, where it's like a law that stops you from going near someone or something. Because my poor angels, they must have we're going to have to get a prohibition order on Nicky. She's just talking to us 24/7. But it was the joy of saying, for instance, Jeremiah, I said, look, has Darren been up for his review yet? Has he reviewed himself? And then Darren would be there going, yeah, I have. Don't worry, I've gone to the light. Then he'd go to my brother and my brother'd say, Nick, Darren's just come and says, gone to the light. What's all that about? Sounds a bit, go to the light, Caroline. And I went, don't worry, it's fine. He's just confirming. And then a feather would drop and land on my chest, or suddenly someone would write something in an email saying, I've just want to say that I've recently connected with Archangel Jeremiah. And all the synchronicities made me go, oh, this is so much easier being in the higher dimensions with this. It's so much easier. And people say to me, how have you done your seminars? How have you gone to all these events and that? Because I'm not alone. in any way, shape or form. I have the tribe, which are the followers. I have my own personal tribe, which are around me. And I have a whole plethora of beautiful higher beings that are ready to help anybody. And this is what people need to know. They think that I'm somebody special because I can connect with angels. Everybody can do it. Nobody has to be. I've just got the cojones to get on camera. Sorry, I just knocked the camera then. I get so passionate, but I've just got the cojones to get in front of a camera and just say it. And luckily, I first started out sitting in bed completely catastrophically. Oh, I had carers, I was in a wheelchair. It was just horrific. And then I literally was told, press the button. And so I thought, okay. So in the end, I just started recording very badly on my old iPhone, shaking. I just literally held it like that. Oh, hello. Like my body may be broken, but my soul isn't. And I want to just share this with you. And that's how this all began. This is how it all began. You know, the second part of me, obviously I had a previous life of television and all the media and all that 3D stuff doing this work, but I hadn't found myself. I hadn't awakened properly. I was serving humankind on a completely different frequency. And now it's shifted to this, and it is sublime. And I know this is going to sound really weird, but I understand why Darren went home. And I respect, I don't see them as lessons, because that sounds like we've failed at our homework or something. I see them as remarkable opportunities for further awakening and a further way to improve humanity. And we need that at the moment because we are in crisis. There's no doubt about it. And so if I'm one of those chosen few, well, it's mostly a few million, that are here to say, this is what's happening, this is how we're going to get through it, and this is what is coming, thank you very much. I'm very happy where I am and what I'm doing. And I am. I'm very grateful. And I'm grateful that suddenly people are listening to what I'm saying. And if I can just help one person in a day, a week, a month, my job here is done. It's not a job. My vocation, my sense of being is honoured by helping someone with a tip or a bit of guidance or teaching them how to connect with angels, whatever it is. It's like a drug. I don't know if you feel like that, but I feel like I could never ever stop doing this even if I wanted to. Even if I wanted to. If I won $1 million tomorrow, that could go to a nice sanctuary somewhere, because I literally just want to be here doing what I do. That's all I want.
Yeah, it's interesting. One of my questions I wanted to ask you is, do you feel like, or do you see more, because as you're describing, well, first remark would be, as you're going through what you're going through, I'm like, well, that sounds a lot like how people would be occupying the new earth and what I visualized as the new earth. Like you described the 5D shift, and I was like, well, that sounds very like, yeah, that's one point I wanted to remark on. And then asking was, more and more people have these clairs coming online, clairsentience, clairvoyance, like more and more people. I've got people that are like, some of the people in my coaching are like straight and narrow, yeah, like leaders, like COO and just, and they're like getting disconcerted by some of the things that are happening to them. And they're like, you mentioned Harry Potter, so I'm just going to go with the reference. They're super muggle, yeah? Like they're super muggle, yeah?
What a wizard, Valerie.
Yeah. And they're getting these moments of wizardom, and they're like, you're a wizard. And it's like, And then luckily we're in coaching, we're having these conversations and they're unpacking it. And it's like, okay, so I'm not completely off the hinges. And it's like, here's a bunch of content to go have a look at and see what you think on the other side of that. But it's interesting. More like at this particular moment in time, do you see more and more people popping open?
I have never seen such a spike of people emailing and messaging, panicking, their children as well. Suddenly seeing their grandma they never met and then going, oh, that's the lady that came to me last night, And what I don't understand why people are panicking. I do, but I don't, because obviously it's natural for me. I've been born into it, and it's, I'm not a muggle. And and I don't mean, again, muggles in a derogatory fashion. I'm talking about people that have either been brought up in religion or been brought up closed down and suddenly they're waking up. It is literally spiking so much. It's incredible. And they're panicking because they're like, how am I hearing this? I'm suddenly hearing my name. I'm seeing this. I saw my nan at the end of my bed. I saw an angel. Oh my God, what's happening? And it's like, why are you scared? It's beautiful. The shift isn't coming. It's here already. It's here already. And they are literally waking up to all this beautiful stuff that we all had at the beginning of time that was taken from us through being controlled and shut up and shut down.
Is it that the veil is thinning, or is it that like people's DNA is getting upgraded? Like, what's going on? Is it? Oh, here we go. Both, of course. The smorgasbord.
It's both.
Tell us.
It's that we used to say Samhain. Halloween was when the veil was the thinnest, but what's happening is if you can envisage in your head like millions of people all standing together like loads of dots, and then envisage like a layer of energy above them, right? Now, that used to be quite solid and thick because it was only certain people that would exercise and go into that frequency. But now the collective is opening up, and this is assisted by Galactics as well, because they've told me that they are also helping to incorporate this DNA code or whatever it is, I don't know. And that's what I mean, I don't know what it's all called. Some people can quote like people that specialise in all this. I can't, because I've never read a book in my life about any of that kind of stuff. But so what's happening is the frequency, as people are being in tuned and waking up and suddenly opening their frequency through their chakra systems and, coming online, if you like, then this frequency is rising up because they're starting to think, well, hang on a minute, I need to have a look up there then. So they're sending their frequency up. Before, it was like oil and water mixing. It was really hard. And I used to have to sit for a little while, link up. Now it's like, can do it straight away. So then you've got all of these different frequencies, and this is what I don't get right. All the skeptics say, oh, it's low vol nonsense. Well, hang on a minute. We've got radio frequency. We've got crystals in our TVs, our watches, and our phones. We've got all of them, radio, TV, microwave, all of them, EMF. So how can you not say that there's a frequency of other sentience and that we don't omit a frequency? It's just daft. Same with the Schumann resonance, Years ago, I used to talk about the heartbeat of the planet, be okay, hippie girl, whatever. But because the scientists have now said we've found it and you can listen to it whenever you want on a given app or online, it's accepted. And we need to get away from that. We need to accept what we are telling you from source as channels, instead of someone ticking the box, a scientific person or someone in power doing it. But this is what's happening. We're getting the sheep all over to our side. So basically, this frequency has got higher. Theirs is now reaching down to meet us. And the frequency shift is so easy now because there's so much of a vibration being raised with each individual. So the more that join it, which is it's been prophesized for years, the age of the Aquarius, it's all this freedom, this collective energy, this creator energy, this rebellion energy. I don't know if that is right, but that's how I see it as. It's just raw. And so we're literally have met in the middle now. There's no up and down. It's all around. So it just takes 5-minute meditation, hour meditation, whatever floats your boat. It just takes you, using crystals, selenite, for instance. Look, selenite. Okay, I want to connect with the angels. I want to invoke Archangel Michael and find it really hard to move on from this job that I know is rubbish. Please give me the courage and strength to do it. Ding! One collective person has hit the Archangel frequency of Michael, right? Then another, Nicky said to talk to Michael about the courage to move on from a certain, cut the binds from the past. Ding! So suddenly these people are sending their energy up like they've never done before. And that's created a whole frequency of communication that then can be weaved into all of the frequencies of the angels and all the rest of it. And people obviously we all aspire to say, they're up there. That's just a thing we do as humans, but they're in us, they're around us. And literally all you have to do is just open your chakra points, open your heart chakra. Where are you? Who are you? Boom, it will start. But people have been told through society for thousands of years, oh, it's only our prophets from the Bible that can do that. It's only, the Pope that can do that. It's only this person that's allowed to do that. Anybody else is a witch, or they're working with demons, or do you know what I mean? And so they've kind of said, no, you can't do this. And we're like, I think I can actually, thank you very much. And I've never seen so much presence of people saying, I get it. My diet's changed. I'm drinking differently. My habits have changed. I'm more aware of my own mortality. I'm aware of my immortality. I'm suddenly like regaining knowledge of previous lives. My 4-year-old child is telling me, I was your mummy last time round, you're doing a reasonable job. And she was absolutely freaking. She's like, my 4-year-old said that he was my mummy and that I'm doing a reasonable job. What's all that about? And I'm like, he remembers. And these kids are remembering even more. Do you know what I mean? They're remembering because this vow is so strong now in respect of mixing the energies of frequencies. They're not forgetting their previous lives. And this goes into transgender and people having, this gender chaos going on, because I've been told that what's happening is the reason why this has all gone completely, because obviously you go to somewhere like Thailand, there's this massive phenomena of men, wanting to be women. And so suddenly we've got into this culture here in the US, and I'm sure in Oz as well, where people are questioning their gender from a very young age. And I was simply told, because they were a boy before and they don't realise why they're now in a girl body. And people that are now becoming more aware of their sexuality. Well, because, they loved men before and they don't understand why they've now got to love a woman because they're in a men's body. Because they're remembering their soul, they're remembering the intrinsic part of why they're coming down, and they're not suited in that body. And this is what this whole phenomena about, transgender and gender confusion and sexuality. Because they're like, well, hang on a minute, I was a man and now I'm a girl and I don't want to be that. I want to be a man. Can you see what I mean? So there are parts that we need to settle and shift into and appreciate, because our children are our leaders and we need to listen to our kids, because they will bring through the most incredible stuff, the incredible philosophy. Listen to your children. Don't tell them to shut up out of your own fear. If they're talking to your mum that they never met, you don't have to encourage it so that it's something ridiculous, but you certainly don't close it down. Don't close your children's beauty down. Because I closed down a bit when I was around 7 or 8, because I was worried I'd get bullied at school. Then I went through really horrific physical and sexual abuse from the thing my mum married after my dad died in a road accident. And so I kind of kept it in the boil, and I was very much in an ego state of victim, anger, frustration, the normal things that survivors go through. And then it started bubbling up when I got my power back as a police cadet. And I used to start doing readings, and then the power came back into me and the sovereignty started to arrive. But I still had the demons from my abuse and from my loss of my dad. My mum became an alcoholic. And so, I kind of got thrown into this work, but I still hadn't healed myself or dealt with my shadow work or my demons. I hated myself. To look in a mirror was like hell. And so to now be in a state of complete self-love, which is vital for this to go forward as a collective, you've got to love yourself and emanate love. Because if we wrap it right round to what I said at the beginning about the karmic force, that is also like this. It is so quick. What you give out, you will get back really, really quickly. So, for instance, I sat there because I thought, wow, my garden looks like a jungle. I'm sure there are like soldiers doing exercises out there. And I thought, because my poor gardener, his van broke down, and I'm like, I really need a gardener. I really do need someone to come and help me, because this is my sanctuary, because I'm housebound sometimes with my disability. And so I'm like, this is not pleasing me. I need my plants to breathe, and I'm getting upset by the fact they're all crowded. This is how I'm like now, elemental. And then my phone went ding, and it came up just got to say, Phil has just come around my house. He's absolutely brilliant. He's the best gardener in the Bay. And I'm like, thank you. Or, so for instance, let's just say, this is the first thing that's come up. You're going to have to forgive me. Just say that you're taking your dog for a walk, right? And it poops, right? And you realise you haven't got any bags. And you're like, oh, no, I haven't got any bags, right? So you just say, oh, I'm just going to leave it. I would obviously stand there and hunt for someone with a dog poo bag. But, you know, just so that happens, you're more than likely, by the end of that walk, going to walk in some different poop somewhere else because you left the last one.
It's a good example. It's a really good
You see
example.
what I mean?
I don't need to forgive you for that one. That one's good. I
Thank
like
you.
that one.
Sorry about my mind. This is what I say. I don't know why they choose me, because I don't come up with the greatest analogies. But what I'm trying to say is what you give out is what you are going to get back, and some. So if you give out, I'm never going to get out of this relationship, I'm never going to get well, I'm never going to get that new home, that new job, and the universe is going, sorry? Oh, okay, then you won't then. You know, if you're going, thank you for this new job, affirmations, the power of what you give out, people don't realise. And, you know, I've started doing now and then these like live meditations where I bring people to send out positive energy to like war zones or weather disaster areas or whatever, because rather than sit in the negative, look at what they're doing, it's really bad, what are the politics doing around this, what are the leaders doing about it, I can't believe they're getting shot, I can't believe they're getting raise above the playground. I send love and strength to all of those that are in fear or have lost souls. I honour the souls of Archangel Azrael that are now being taken up by the seraphim en masse for allowing their soul contract to sacrifice for the name of humanity. I bring love to all the animals. So what you're doing is you're sending love out. We are so powerful. We are physically sending that energy to that space. And people don't think they're important enough. We are. We can change anything in our future and on the planet.
You said we were waking up to this reality where actually our our light body and our energetics is actually even more physical than our physical body. I heard you say that.
Absolutely. Are you talking about like obviously the DNA activations as well?
I can't remember the context in which I heard you say it, but I remember you saying that. That stayed with me, touch wood.
We're not only raising, and I never expected this, to be honest with you, but then you can't expect anything from the divine. I thought it'd all be about us working with our consciousness, right, raising our energy, but our bodies are changing as well. So when I've gone to other planets through my whole life, when I thought they were dreams, you know, as a kid and all the rest of it, some of them are just so sublime. They just sit in their energy. There was these silvery, glowing, translucent beings I once went and saw. They were so kind and benevolent, and I'll never forget them. There was loads of them, and I was coming down. I was obviously astrally planing, came down, and they didn't speak. They were just full of this most beautiful benevolence and love, and their body was fluid. It wasn't solid. It was quite hard to like almost a rainbow prism going through them. And they were architects, they told me. They loved to build things, but they created mass and they created their environments with the power of their minds, with the power of their auric fields, right? And so I was like, wow, that's incredible. That's really special. No, it's not, because we should be able to do that by now, but we've just been held down by the chains of ego. So what's happening is that I was shown the first Adam and Eve weren't the first humans on the planet. You know, the Adam and Eve. The serpent represents a Kundalini line, right? And so what happened is that, and I've had this confirmed with someone who's a channel for the Galactics as well, right? Is that at one given point in time, we were all given consciousness, a soul connection to the divine, and we even had a DNA blip or chromosome, whatever you call them, I don't really know the ins and outs of it, placed in there, which was a tendency to be able to do this manipulation of matter, water, wind, creating mass, right? And so that was there inherent. So then we have the story. So everybody could do that. Everybody could do that. Everybody could connect up and manipulate things, telepathically connect. They could all do that in the beginning. And I think they mentioned about the Anunnaki having something to do with that. But again, you know, I'm not an expert on it. That's just the names they've told me about. I don't really know a lot about them. And so then what's happened is through time, especially through Jesus's time, he was like us, had the cojones to stand up and talk, even though there were loads of him about. He was a human, and he told me that he didn't die, he was in a coma, and then he continued his bloodline with Mary in France. So anyway, so then we move on, and what happens is somehow it's if you use it, if you don't use it, you lose it. So this DNA strand has kind of gone, okay, and our galactics, the benevolence, and all of our loved ones, angelic realms, all of the higher beings are like, whoa, we can't reach them anymore. This is not good, because the ego was changed. It kind of resonated with egotistical, 3D, materialistic power, money, control, you know, and they didn't like that, because love was supposed to be the main fluid energy resonating through humanity, and that didn't happen. And they did tell me they did flood the planet. They did flood it because it's just going so wrong, but then they've let it go again. And so I was told that the heinous acts of a certain German leader kicked off and sparked off the beginning of the transformational energy. Apparently it aligns with the planets anyway, but they decided enough's enough. This free will is ridiculous after he did what he did to those millions of
because
people.
he exercised too much free will.
Yeah. And they said,
Touch
you know
wood,
what?
very interesting.
This isn't great. We need to change this. So Metatron, so this is all written in my Earthwalkers books as fantasy. So Metatron rewrites the scribes and the laws of the universe. And, you know, people think he's some bloke sitting behind a desk writing. It's not. He's just literally manipulating timelines, manipulating frequencies so that people get inspired in different ways to create change. And so from literally the 40s, when he was doing what he was doing, 1940s, right, from 39 to 45, they're like, right, we need to start waking people up now, because we're going to lose this planet. We're going to lose it because they're destroying it. They're killing it. They're killing humanity and what we planned for it to be. They're killing everything on it, and we're not going to last very long. And I know that they said that back in the early 1990s, the button was going to be pressed. The nuclear button was going to be pressed, but it was avoided. I don't even know what happened politically in the early 90s, got no clue, but it was going to be pressed. And they literally changed the aspect of what was being brought to people, because people think they get hunches and inspiration. It's whispers from the divine that make your decisions. It's you that change it through your ego and fear. And so this is why we now come to this pinnacle of awakening now. And we're all just catching up, because people have been talking about, I have been talking about this for years, the Christ consciousness coming in, dragon energy coming in, but suddenly everybody's gone boom, and they're all on the same frequency now, saying the same things apparently. And so literally we're being told as portal mediums, whether it's through galactic, astrology, you know, mediumship, whatever it is, we are all working under the same roof but a different department.
Different
Showing
sectors
humanity.
different sectors of the Ministry of Magic.
Exactly. Don't you just love it? Oh my, I'd so love to be there. The Ministry of Magic.
Touch wood.
Obviously not Voldemort in charge, but you know there are certain Voldemorts on the planet at the moment. But that's fine. That's fine. We'll get it. You know, it'll be changing. And so this, because of this raise of frequency, this is somehow detonating this DNA strand that's been lost. That is like a further antennae to the divine. So we're going to see so much more fluidity to do with healing, health, aging, technology for the better, though, because these people that have had this, strand activated have awakened, and it'll be for the greater good. So we're just waiting for the transitional change of people getting into their, their power, getting into their leadership roles to change what's going on. And so what we have to focus on is sending love, power, benevolence, calm, tranquility to the places that are going through chaos at the moment, and not get involved in the drama. So our bodies will evolve, they will change without a doubt. One of the things I did see was, unfortunately, the hunched form of them watching on a I can't even say it.
Physiology of them being hunched
There's
over.
going to be a lot of change to do with that. And it's almost like we will look like some of our galactic cousins, because we will have an elongated neck. I know that the sphere of our skull will change because of this. The pineal gland will grow, because obviously they're trying to shrink it with fluoride at the moment. And, people say, oh, conspiracy theorists, but then it all comes to light eventually, like the Schumann resonance and all the other stuff we've said about. So we will almost look, and we will hunch in a bit. So we'll almost look like our galactic cousins. But then our eyes will be the windows. They will be how the Lemurians look at me when they blink, and how these Silvers looked at me with this love and this openness, and they could instantly download your website of your soul within seconds. And there's no reason for buying a big house, having a flash car. It's just not there. The same as our new children that are being born now and have been since the 80s. They're our future, and we are our future. And I think sometimes people are waiting. What I don't want people to be confused with is, I think they're waiting for some grand entrance of some saviour, because that's what we've been indoctrinated to do. Look for the leader, look for the saviour. Look for the person that's going to come in. We're going to get when I say about the Jesus consciousness, they say, oh, is he going to appear? He's already here. He's in us. He's around us. Just tune into him and he'll talk to you. I think, people waiting for this manifestation, but no, we're manifesting it ourselves now. And when you're in it, and I hope a vast amount of your followers will nod at this bit, when you're in it, the magic is just incredible. I need a gardener. Boom, it's there. I want this brought to me. Boom, it's there. It's just, your life is magnificent when you work in this energy and are mindful of it. You are in the Oasis 24/7.
Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing, but you reminded me of this. One of the sisters in the circle, her name's Roseanne, and she's a long time psychotherapist. Yeah, so she's quite on the straight and narrow, but she's actually very open as well. And hopefully she's okay with me talking about it. But anyway, she shared a lot in the circle the other day, and and she was talking about 12 synchronicities that happened to her in the span of a 3-hour window. And it was a problem. It was a problem. And it was just, and everybody else was like, oh, that's so inspiring. And she was like, I don't know what's going on, guys. It was actually, it was.
And did you say she's a psychotherapist?
She's been a psychotherapist for many years.
So you got the left-hand brain telling you.
Yeah.
That's another interesting thing you could tell her, actually, because the intellectual, the logical side of our brain is now being infiltrated with. Because everybody will know, for the last 35 years, I've always worked from the right. I hear, I taste, smell. I know. I've got all of the senses. That's what bloodline I come from my family. But everybody's always been to my right. Guides, spirit people coming through at DEMS, it's all been to the right. And suddenly, just about, 7-8 months ago, left ear, high buzzing, me, and I'm like, wow. So I did go and check my ears to make sure, nothing, clear as anything. And I'm like, wow, that's incredible. And then suddenly, when I'm doing the global predictions, from the left. So they are trying to mould the left-hand side of our brain, because that is the analytical side. So if we look somewhere and we see a spirit person, for instance, or a galactic being, the left-hand side says, what are you looking at? And it disappears, because it analyses everything. It analyses all of the things that are in our creative and spiritual side. and that can muck up people's natural connection with the divine. And so they're infiltrating that. So this structure is going to change. The pineal gland is going to become bigger, larger, more profound in it, which is a seed to the antennae to the whole of the planet. And we'll also be able to connect and correlate with like pyramids, with the structures under pyramids, trees. We could replant anything that has a life force or has been structured to magnify life force or energy. We'll connect with easily. We can create craft with our minds. We'll be able to fly craft with our energy.
I found the other day that the parting of the Moses parting the seas was actually the sort of the cerebellum and actually the left and the right hemisphere of the brain. And that was actually a metaphor. That was quite profound to come across.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
But I can understand that now.
It sort of stood out to me. It was it was something I wanted to I wanted to ask you a question. It's blipped, but that's okay. The other question I had for you was there's 12 different angels. 12 different angels, 7 different angels. There's the colours of the rainbow paired to the angels. You seem to be very tuned into the colours, and can you help us orient around colours and angels and pair them together for us, just so we can get a bit of a comprehensive
Absolutely. I'm actually I've just started school actually, which is a new app somebody told me to do, to actually give a full full course on all angels, because I could go on forever, as you've seen.
I'd love for you to, but please, yeah.
Angels, same as spirit people and ascended masters, any other beings, they have to identify themselves so we know who they are. So if you get a frequency come into your room and your ear starts buzzing, or you can smell something, or you think, wow, there's a shimmer in the side, what is going on? They need to identify themselves so that we understand who they are. So one of the main things angels will do, some can turn up not with wings, some can change their sex, because you may not like men in your energy, so they'll come as female energy, so they can change their imagery like spirit people can. Okay, but the one thing they will never change is the ray of colour that they like literally resonate on.
Right.
So that's how you identify them. So for instance, Archangel Michael is a royal blue. So as soon as I see a flash of blue, it doesn't matter what imagery he brings. I know it's him straight away, and then I feel him, and then all I see is a sword. So they will bring imagery that will help you identify the angel, and it will be all different, but the colour will be the same. Okay, and just to let everybody know, again, I didn't read it. I literally, when I was laying in, I've seen them since I was a kid, didn't really take much notice. And I did Angels on TV with lots of people well-known people in England. We did 2 seasons, and I started to connect more with them, and they would introduce themselves and then show me their colour, show me their race, show me what they did, and then I'd Google it and it was exactly right, and I'd be like, wow. So, Raguel came in. Hello, I'm Raguel. I said, that's rubbish name, that's not an angel name. When I was laying in bed, my partner at the time didn't want to be with someone in a wheelchair, so he stole 65,000 off of me and just disappeared off the face of the planet, on top of me losing my home and my holiday home. And so I had all these bailiffs knocking on my door, even though I was catatonic laying in bed, right? And so I'm Raguel, and like, never heard of you. That's how I was. I was so disrespectful. And I'd realised that I had pale blue. Anything I found in my boxes that I'd managed to keep, pale blue. And then I walked down the stairs. In the hallway was a pale blue angel just sitting in the middle of my hallway, like this gem with a pale blue ribbon on it. He said, I work in this ray. And then he showed me this pale blue, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. He goes, I'm going to clear your debt. I went, good luck with that, love. Good luck with that. And this is all in my mind, I'm saying this. And then the dogs are, wah, 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 wah. They're barking at where he's standing. So I knew I wasn't hallucinating. And I cleared all of that debt in a day, because he just said, pick up the phone, do this now. And he kept bugging me until I did it. And then I Googled it. Archangel Raguel is the archangel of balance, justice and harmony. So he was balancing out my life by getting rid of the debt. Archangel Ariel is a huge energy at the moment, and I am obsessed with pink. When I was a detective, I was blacks, navies, greys, right, with a little pastel colour. If you look at my If you look at my wardrobe now, it's like a rainbow of gorgeousness. It's like a box of Skittles, right?
The officer in you
So-
would be horrified.
I know. So I'm like, pink is my thing. And so I thought, what's all this about? And then Ariel rocks up, and I'm like, that's a mermaid name. Rude. And she went, no, I am the archangel of everything that's driven you in your whole life. I look after the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom. Your base chakra needs, manifesting, weather disasters. I'm like, so a lot of my readings, when I use my precious, which is my crystal ball back there, I use she comes in about weather. I do a lot of weather reporting and stuff like that, and she tells me where the seraphim are going to be if it's a big thing. And so she comes in on a pink ray. So that's why I'm obsessed with pink. Same happened when Raphael turned up, green ray. So he brings in this green, beautiful ray of energy. So anywhere, create these colours in your homes. Look at what colour angel resonates with you, or what you need help with. Look at the crystals that resonate with them. So rhodonite at the moment I've got on, and I've got, these are all grounding ones actually, but for Ariel, pink. Look at what clothes you wear. Look at what colour food you eat, what colour your sanctuary is, what, in your home, because all of these colours will help you resonate with that angel. So they all have their unique colour codes. And all you have to do is just say, for instance, right, let's just say Uriel, right? He's vibrant red. He reminds me of fire and strength, and he's a guardian of the planet. He's a very strong figure in protection, and he liaises with the benevolence, the Galactics, and he's very much in this protective element of protecting humanity. Fire red. And so if I feel on a personal level that I think I actually need some motivation, or I'll get the labradorite on, which is for motivation to get me going. I might have bloodstone or a firestone, and then I've got that. Then I get on the earth, perhaps put my feet on the grass and say, right, come to me, Uriel. And all I do is I envisage, and this, you can all do this, envisage the colour, just red, or it could be, if you're good at creating imagery in your mind, you could create him standing there with a red cape on, a red cloak, whatever you can create in the imagery, because it doesn't matter if you can see in imagery or not. The intent is enough, believe me. And then literally, Uriel, I ask you to please protect me at the moment. I've got a job interview, and I know that there's one person there that really doesn't like me, and I so need this. Can you please protect me from the element of this person that continually tries to bring me down? Bring me the fire, bring me the strength of your red energy, and allow me to walk this with my own courage and sovereignty intact. Boom, it's done. It's that easy. And you'll walk in there and you'll smash it. And you'll get, at the moment, because I've just done that, my crown chakra, my divine chakra is fizzing, because I've just done an invocation on a complete fake scenario. But, and I can feel them now. Oh, I love it. Goosey. And that's one of the things I've listened. He'll know that I've done that for humanity, not for me. And you'll feel it. You'll feel the whoa, and then you'll get a feather come, or you'll see the name Uriel, or someone will walk past you dressed completely in red. And people think you look for this, like, oh yeah, you just look for it and you stretch it to fit. You can't avoid it, can you? It's in your face. It's in your face. And I just laugh. People must think there's like the weirdo of the village, because I just laugh every time I go, oh my, thank you. And people look at me like, who's she saying thank you to? Because they do it time and time, even down to parking spaces. Everybody uses this analogy. Ariel, if I'm going to like an appointment, I'm going to get my back therapy, whatever it is, and I say, Ariel, please, I'm in so much pain, please provide a space for me. The other day, I said, please provide a space for me. I can't walk far today. I'm in so much pain. I said, please, could you just do that for me? Thank you for bringing me a parking space. Always affirm it afterwards and see it as a reality. That's very important. And so I literally went up to the practice, and I thought, oh, hang on a minute, Ariel, you've let me down, love. So I turned back round, come back down again, and then there was this car that pulled out, and it was AAP, and I see my AAP's Archangel Aerial Pink, and it pulled out directly in front of the front door. I'm like, thanks, darling. Pulled in, and I don't care if it was an angel or not. The fact is, I'm in a high vibration of positivity rather than sitting in my bed, rocking and rotting away, crying my eyes out because I've lost the love of my life and they've stolen everything from us, including my right to, get closure on him. So that's where the analogy of Julianus comes in. Choose the desert or the oasis. It's your choice. You want to get through this the hard way, or do you want to get it through the easier way? It takes a bit more courage and bravery for you to get off your butt and literally work the tools that you know will help you get through this. Darling, Amrit, I cannot tell you. I had no idea I'd be in this space this early on after such horrific traumatic events. I had no idea. And I know it is 100% down to the collective around me and the collective above me, if you like. There's no doubt. There's no doubt at all.
Did you feel like this was actually, it's more than just being supported by the collective and above, it's actually part of your purpose?
100%.
Yes,
This is really weird because when I was told by Julianus, and I did say a few rude words. I've got a putty mouth when I get angry. And I literally said to Julianus, what's happened here is it's your soul contract. Darren, you've agreed to have the bliss. You've agreed that once that happens, Darren's going to go home because you've got to carry on your path. I said, well, why couldn't I carry on with him? Everybody else does. And he said, you wouldn't have. You wouldn't have put in what you're doing now, and you signed up for this. It's like, whatever. One of my gorgeous friends, George, who's an astrologist, he phoned me up and goes, look, out of the blue, just after this meditation, go figure, and said, can you give me yours and Darren's date of births and where you were born and all the rest of it? He goes, I really have got a strong impulse to look at your charts. So I don't really know a lot about them, but oh my goodness, it's so powerful. Astrology is so powerful. It is so powerful in this day and age as well, because
really
of
amazing.
what's going on with the planets, apparently. I don't know what it is, but that's what I've been told by my lot. And so he said, I have never seen anything like it in my life.
Hey there, Inspired Souls. Nicky's talking about the importance of astrology and the depth that it goes to in terms of helping you find yourself. And it's just an absolute, it is a miracle. It's incredible how deep astrology goes. If you're looking for an astrology reading and would like one from me, I'd be honored to give it to you. So amritsandhu.com/astroself. You can make that booking, link in the description below if you're looking for your astrological chart reading. You can take your pick, Western astrology, Hellenic astrology, or even Vedic astrology, whatever calls you, let me know. It'd be an honor to support you if you feel so called.
He said, you two are on a direct, I don't know about all the houses and all the stuff they talk about. He goes, you're on a direct alignment on a soul contract basis, even for him to pass in water in that part of the world. And he said, this is a signed, sealed, delivered contract that you agreed that he would go home so you could take that forward and show humanity how to get through the next few years of this life. Because it's going to get worse before it gets better. And he said, and you will draw thousands, if not millions to you. That would be lovely, just to reach these people in the darkness. And he said, you would not have done that with Darren. And to be honest with you, I still adored my work, but my purpose was Darren. My purpose was traveling. My purpose was assisting him on, in our crystal business. And I can see now that I've got nothing else to do apart from help humanity. And then I was reminded a couple of weeks ago, you need balance here. You also need some personal time, so make sure, and that's what's happening. They're starting to bring that in as well now, with a new home and my new little puppy. And it's just delivered on my doorstep. Well, not yet, but he's coming from Macedonia. And literally, Darren, the night before, said, don't worry, I'm going to bring you something. The following morning, the dog turns up. And then the other day, he said, I think you should be looking at a new energy now. Come away from this home. And then he goes to my sister the same night, and she phones up and goes, it's amazing. I saw a beach and this sea view, seen this house with a sea view and all the rest of it. And she said, and Darren gave me a new house key. She goes, are you moving? And it's like, so do you know what I do now? And this is for everybody out there. Whatever decisions you have to make, whatever you have to deal with in life, Let it go. Send out what the end result needs to be for you. Let it go and watch the magic. I kid you not. You don't have to do a thing. Just say, and this is an analogy. Lots of people that know me already will know this one. It's nothing to do with dog poop, darling. Right? This is this so simple and so on point. Julianus, I'll change it to the words because he called it a cart driver or something. He meant taxi driver. So when you get in the back of a taxi, he said, imagine the driver is the universe, right? And you're in the back of the cab. So he said, if you don't tell the cab where you want to go, how's he going to take you to your destination? If you sit there and you're quiet, or you're just sitting there moaning, or you're doing the typical TikTok thing of when's it going to happen? Why is it me? La 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 la. He goes, you're not going to go anywhere. Sit in your cab, speak clearly to your taxi driver and say, I want to be here. That's where I want to be. Thank you for making it happen. Now and then, if you want to dip into what you've asked for, create the reality. If it's a home, see yourself making a cup of tea in there, see the kids playing in the garden, see the dog running around, whatever it is, let it go. And I'm telling you now, it will come back to you. If it's of the greater good, if it's like, I want to win the lottery, I want him to end up, because he left me, I want him to break up with his girlfriend and all that rubbish, it's not going to happen, is it? But if you stay in your high energy, and anybody that's hurt you or brought you ill will or let you down, they're still in that rubbish, horrible, low vibrational energy, of course it's going to happen to them, because this is what's happening. They're going to get what they deserve. Cut away from it. Stay in the love, stay in the positivity. Affirm to your taxi driver where your destination is. The quantum spaces will open up and you will get it. I've worked it all my life. How could I have gone from homeless to now being in a house, mortgage free, right next to the beach and opposite a nature reserve with lakes that I ordered? How could I do that from being homeless without a penny? Just took a couple of dustbin bags, some stuff stuffed away in storage that the bailiffs couldn't get, and my 2 little dogs. How did I get here? It weren't me. I'll tell you that for nothing. The first place I ever rented, this is in this book, Me, Myself and I, right? The first place I ever rented, I had lost my house, lost my caravan that I used to have. So I was completely blackballed, had no credit whatsoever. And I got through the credit check to rent a house. It's impossible. They will create impossible things and they'll just magic it. I don't know how they do it, but they do. And as long as you have the complete faith, trust, knowledge to know that they've got you and they will get you, and you've just got to be patient and wait for the right timing, your life will be so much better. And it's, these people, God bless them, but there are some people on this online facility that say, oh, manifest your abundance, do this every day, do this course, do that. Just send it up and let it go and let them do it. They'll do it for you. I honestly promise you, because I'm the living proof of it. And I'm so glad that I've got the ability and the opportunity to speak online and show me going through all of the challenges I go through, and people see the outcome. That's what I love about this, because
Embodied.
I don't have to do a course. I just literally show them my life and how I get through it and how they deliver miracles. That's the reality of it. Take it or leave it, Oasis or desert, it's up to you. But I'm here to show you that your story, your timelines, you who you think you may or may not be, or what you're here for, if it's wrong, change it. Change it. And then they say, how? Because I've got this, I've got that, I've got this, I've got that. Because you can see where they're at. They're in this, I can't do anything, I'm stuck, I'm going to not move because I'm too fearful. That's fine then, stay where you are. It takes courage. And my God, does it take a lot of trust, faith to just hand over to something that's not tangible in the 3D world. But once you connect in.
That was one of my questions, is for some people tuning into this, they're going to want to know how to speak to the taxi driver. And I know you're likely to say, actually, I'm happy to, actually, I should just let you respond. But you might say it doesn't really matter. But what if you're just thinking it? Do you need to verbalize it? How do you feel is the most appropriate way to communicate to the taxi driver?
Anyway, darling, any
But the
intention.
intention is clear,
I think
right,
if you're a
behind it.
newbie, if I think you're a newbie, it may be better to create a visual representation by writing something out. So perhaps this is why I've created soul journals and things like that, because everything I used to do, and it's not for business or buy this, it's like, well, that's what I've done. I'll show people that that's what I did. So everything I used to write out, I've literally categorized it in journals to literally show people how to keep their abundance high, how to keep their energy high, and how to keep connected. It's that simple. It's just a soul journal. And so all you have to do, you don't need a soul journal if you don't want. You literally try and keep your vibration as high as possible through meditation, grounding, breath work, light work, candle work. Crystals are so important at the moment. Crystals are resonating.
I was hoping you'd talk a little bit more about crystals, if that's, and I'm conscious of the time, but are you open
I'll
to
bring that in
sharing?
very quickly now. Let me grab some aura and some.
I'd be so honoured, because there's certain crystals. Yeah,
Listen, I am surrounded by them at the moment, but literally with the invocation or what you want, just write it out and go with your intuition. So if you don't know about angels, do something really unromantic. Either watch me or Google it. Archangel 4, whatever you want to aspire to, what you want to tell the taxi driver. Dear taxi driver, dear angel, dear whoever, I really need to be in this space. I thank you for being in this space. I look forward to this space delivering. Don't beg, don't plead, don't think you're not worthy, you're not on the right energy. You are all doing something that you know you will receive, right? So you can either go outside and burn it if you want to be theatrical. You can wrap it around a crystal of manifestation. Rose quartz is a great one. There's so many different ones. And then, or you can place it under your pillow, or you can bury it, or you can keep it, whatever you want to do. And then if you are invoking an angel, remember what I said, just envisage yourself in the colour of that frequency. That is enough. Your intent is enough. So there's so many people that create all this pomp and circumstance around manifesting whatever you need. Just stay in a high vibration and know it will come if it's for the greater good. So this is the next thing. This will help you enhance your invocations and your way of being. I remember years ago, I'm such a skeptic. I come from a street cop and major investigation detective to then having to be love and light full time. I'm like, oh, and this was 2003. And it was really difficult. And so I'm skeptical of anything unless I absolutely know it's 100%. I'm not fluffy in love and light. I don't think everything's spirit. I literally will investigate anything. If I see a flash of light, I'll think, right, I'll look for the 3D version until I think, actually, it's unexplainable, right? Because I'm like a judge and jury all together. And so when I first, crystals to me were lumps of rock, which people made money out of. I hated the fact they were like blown out of the Mother Gaia, and I thought they're just a load of crap for people to make money. It's rubbish. So that's what I thought about crystals, right? And I saw these people at the Arthur Finney College, which is our like sidekick college, wearing all these crystals. I'm like, oh my, just what are you doing? It's like a hippie uniform, making us look even more stupid, right? Totally didn't like them. Just thought useless lumps of rock. So then what happened is I remember I was sitting in a development circle right at the beginning of my, after I'd been retired from the police. And I sat there, my dad came up in this circle and he went, all right, darling. I went, all right, Dad. And so he said, sorry, darling. And he went like that. And there was a black square on his palm. I'm like, that's not great. And he goes, but don't worry. And then he showed me a lump of amber. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Not going to lie, the circle leader was a bit off with what she thought it meant. And I thought, no, he's telling me something not great's going to happen. And why is he showing me amber? I didn't have a clue. So the following day I collapsed. I was in agony in the lady area. And I was in absolute agony, and I held it together to do these readings because people had come from miles for these readings. And then I collapsed. I ended up getting an ambulance and they were investigating me for cancer, all sorts. It was horrific. I won't go into details, but my goodness, it was not good. And I thought I was going to die. I was in and out of hospital for about 3 or 4 months with all of this gynae problem. And then my friend came in as a joke when she visited me one day and said, "Oh, look, I've got you this. You know, you can read this." I went, "Are you joking me?" And it was a crystal Bible by Judy Hall, and she brought it in for a joke. And I went, "You are seriously taking the mickey." And when she'd gone, I thought, oh, I'll just flick through. And I thought, oh, hang on a minute. Dad told me the night before that something wasn't going to be right. And then he showed me amber. And when I actually looked in a book for a change. When I looked up amber, I was like, wow. It's urinary, reproductive systems, everything that was really horrifically wrong with me was everything that amber heals. And I couldn't believe it. I thought, wow, that's interesting. So then I phoned my friend up and said, not being funny, I'll pay you, but could you get me a lump of amber? She goes, are you joking? I went, no. I said, but I want it ethically sourced. So she went to this place, and then I sat the amber on my pelvic area, and I could feel like a resonating. I'm really sensitive to frequency and energy, and I could feel it resonating on my sacral chakra. And I thought, this is a bit weird. And then I slowly started to improve. I'm like, hang on a minute. So then I did get into crystals and, had them about. Then I went through being introduced to angels, and then I was full on. I was so busy with DEMS, theatre tours, global tours, magazine work, everything. It just, I wasn't really honouring my presence. And then, literally about 2 years ago, I suddenly had this massive need to get all my crystals out and use them on a daily basis. So what I would recommend is, I don't know half of them. I only know the ones that I've been inspired to use. And then when I look them up, I think, wow, that's exactly what I need. That's how I've learned about crystals. I haven't studied them or anything like that. So every morning I was like, what crystals do I need? What crystals do I need? And then I would see the picture in my eye of what colour they were or the name of them, and I'd put them on and go about my daily basis, either in my bra, on a pendant, ears, wherever. And then I sat down, and one day Julianus just pops in. I went and found him in Italy in 1452. He told me where he's from, and I thought, don't believe you. So I got a ticket to Rome to find him, and I found him, basically. And he said to me, you know why you are suddenly being awakened to the frequency of crystals again? So I said, no. He said, the Schumann resonance, the heartbeat of the planet and Gaia, has risen up to align with the frequencies of crystals and make them even stronger than they've ever been on the planet. I went, you're joking? He goes, no, they are resonating on such a high level now. Use them. And so I started using them. And I literally, anybody can do this. You wake up in the morning, what do I need? And you'll be shown the colour, or you will look at your collection and think, right, I need Amazonite today. I need that in my energy. I need Angel Aura. I need to have that. It's like a need that I've got to have it. It's like my precious. That's why I call my crystal ball my Lemurian ball, my precious, because you just got to have it. And the power of them in this day and age is just second to none. It's like, I'm looking at this one now. This is from Brazil. So the universe, because my company was stolen from his ex-family, Darren's ex-family, I would like to set up a spiritual giftware and crystal business in memory of Darren, please. Thank you very much, told my taxi driver. And I haven't got the money to do it, but I know I will have. Thank you very much. You sort that out. I don't want to deal with base chakra crap. And so they went, okay. So we launched Karma on the 1st of August. And incredibly, someone came to us out of the blue, because the taxi driver was running it, and said, we only get crystals from handmade indigenous villages, and we support the families, and they can then build their communities with running water, blah, blah, blah. And so it's not blown out of the earth. And on my website, you'll see pictures of these beautiful people all over the planet in third world countries with their smiles on their faces because they're creating crystals for me. Where did that come from? The taxi driver. And so, it's like, look at this. This is like Zika D'Souza. This is just literally gently picked. Now, I've got no idea what that is for. All I know is that when I went to see the collection with the girls that run the collection, right, I've got to have that. And so sometimes it doesn't even, and then you'll Google it. This came from our family in Brazil. And so you literally, I just think, what do I do with that? Right, this is all you got to do. You haven't got to be an expert. I'm not an expert in anything. I'm just open to what source brings me, right? So I'm thinking, actually, so feel it on your third eye. Think, oh, there you go. So it should be on your, whoa, and then you feel like you've got lemonade. That's supposed to be on my divine chakra. So I think, right, I'm going to do 5 minutes. Rather than look on TikTok or all the other things that people do, I'm going to sit for 5 minutes. I'm going to go and put my feet on the ground or a grounding mat, whatever you got. And that needs to be on my head for 5 minutes. Boom, off. Let your soul, your higher voice tell you what you need. Because that might say in a book, oh, this is for divine inspiration, but place it on your heart chakra. You're like, well, no, it doesn't fit there. You're different. You're different. Everybody's different. Everybody's on a different frequency that they need to be introduced to different things. Like dragon energy is massive for me. I have to have dragons around me everywhere. And then suddenly everybody's saying, well, yeah, there's a fire energy on the planet. And everybody's talking about dragons. Are they? Great. Glad it's backed up. But you just have to go with what you're bought.
Hey there, inspired souls. Nikki just mentioned tribe and community and the importance of it. And here's someone from our community on the inside of the Inspired Circle sharing about her experience on the inside.
Meeting with Gary Zukov was one of the most important moments of my life. There's a couple times where he was just talking us through something and it just hit. And I think it's because we shared the same space with him. Because you watch a lot of people online and it doesn't feel the same as when you're sharing space with somebody. Like that moment, that memory, that one little tick in time. It does feel very different once you have that kind of awakening and remembering. Different people are different stages of their awakening. So when I start talking in a certain way, it sounds kind of nutty. And so I can talk very freely among my circle members and feel that I'm heard and validated and welcome. Everybody's been so nice and open and non-judgmental. We're all being brought together in some magical way. I just look forward to more connections and what we can do with it. I would say that if you're curious about joining Circle or you feel that there's a calling to a community of like-minded people, that you should click the link down below and join. And it's super easy and super friendly and very affordable. And I would definitely recommend it.
And so crystals are so strong. Moldavite. I have never, ever been able to connect with Moldavite because obviously it comes from up there. It's a very heavy meteorite type stone. And we had a laugh. The girls that do my merchandise, God bless them, Karen and Sharon, they said, go on, touch it. I went, oh no, please. Because they said, go on, you've got to show people about it. Moldavite. And literally and I can normally stand it for a while, but I hadn't touched it for years. I literally lasted about 20 seconds and felt like I wanted to vomit. That's how strong crystals are nowadays. But this is a problem. You have to get them from ethically sourced places. I don't know if you have Temu or like really cheap sites over, in your country, darling.
We do.
But it's all fake. It's resin or it's mass produced, blown out of it. It's not real. And so if you want to get like a bit of resin plastic for £1, you can. But make sure you go to sources that are recommended or reputable for your crystals. And again, you can physically feel the resin. You can even just do this. You'll feel it hitting your auric field. And it's just incredible. And I'm obsessed by them now. My routine every morning is I drink it. So at the moment I've got turquoise, snowy quartz, and what is that in there? I think that's green lace. No, that's jade. Don't know why I put them in there, but I'm obviously on a green and pink day today. Tomorrow it will change. I can change the bottom of it. So I drink it, I surround it, I embrace it, I meditate with it. It's weird. And wear it because we're part of this frequency, this crystal frequency that comes from Mother Gaia. Mother Gaia and Ariel are huge at the moment. And so we need to embrace that energy, and it will change your personal tastes, diet. So many, again, you know, you said earlier about how many people have said about being awakened. How many people have changed their diet, what they drink, habits that ruin their body? They're suddenly becoming more pure. This ascension that's coming in, or what is here, is changing our biological structure so that we're lighter, so we're more open to receive what's going on. A healthier body, healthier mind, you know, mind, body, spirit, all needs to be in balance. And so we don't want to be putting dead animals in us. We don't want to be putting chemicals in us. We don't want to put drugs in us. People are now going more to holistic ways of being. And this will, and again, they've shown me, the angel realms showed me, Raphael showed me, they're bringing in so much more holistic breakthroughs. And with the knowledge of what we have now, we're not going to listen to Pharma anymore. We're going to go to these people that are being imprisoned for showing you the cure for cancer and literally saying, I'm going to try that instead. I've known loads of people that have cured themselves through holistic measures and supplements. And I'm certainly not saying, you know, don't take medical advice. Absolutely not. But I can see we're going back to origins. And unfortunately, the people that aren't with us yet, consciously, see it as a hippie, happy ever after fantasy view of some utopia that's not going to happen because we've got so much badness going on the planet. Watch this space, loves, because you're on the wrong camp. I'm just saying.
So, Nikki, to round out, you said 2027, 2028, things start to land a little bit better. The thorn starts to, like, you sort of seen it, that it starts to recover. Yeah, what did you mean by that entirely?
It's going to be, there'll be new leaders. If you look, there's a pattern of leaders being taken out, assassinations, changes in huge corporations like, you know, the World Health Organization, the UN. What will happen is we'll have certain people of a certain age that will have a capacity to then take over. So some of the kids from the 80s, 90s and the millennium kids that have got the new awakened energy within them will start taking these jobs on, and you'll start to see positive changes, not for money, not for control, not for design. And so we'll start to see shifts in more fairness, more balance. We'll see more transparency with people that are trying to run our countries, our states, you know, our world. We will see endings to wars more efficiently. We will see more voice coming from the ants, and there'll be more benevolence, there'll be more love, and that can only magnify. So within 2-3 years, they said 2027, so 20, I bet you that's 11. Is that 11? 2027, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11, I just see 11, 11, 11, 1, 1, 1 all the time. 11, year 11, 2027, there will be a significant change to community, to loving. There will be laws protecting animal species even more than they are now. See, what's happening at the moment, and I saw this coming, and it has started happening, is that we're getting different species in different oceans. The oceans are warming up. We're getting rare species, especially here. I live right by the coast here, and we had literally the day I said there'll be loads of animals beaching, we had a dolphin the following day here, which is unheard of, beaching on here. Orca whales. So the shift is happening at the moment. The seismic templates, the magma fields, everything's just taking a little shift to get into this perfection of placement astrology wise. Apparently, they just told me the movement, whatever's going on, is going to be in a pivotal perfection, and we will start seeing the results of it by 2027. That's what they keep telling me. There's something about our position or what's coming in, I don't know. And see, the benevolence will lead to more benevolence, which will lead to people in power to change laws. They'll be benevolent and they will say that's actually wrong. So, I predicted, and it's a silly little thing, but you've just done it, banned greyhound racing. And I saw it happening just before it happened in your country and in Wales here. So that will reach, bullfighting, anything that's creating animals as scum and fencing them in and treating them like meat, it's all going to start changing. And people are already subliminally being shown that. Have you noticed how many videos there are of people that showing sentient energy, sentient action and behaviour by animals, especially farm animals? You know, there's more. It's being infiltrated already as we find it. So there'll be law changes. There'll be changes to people trying to control us digitally, because that's what they're trying to do at the moment. Put us in a social structure where they can give us credit and debit for whatever we do in society. So all of this stuff that I don't feel that the sheeple or the people that aren't awake will see so much as a change, because it's already trying to be created now and the forces are pushing it back. So people are trying to get us into a digital, unique digital identity where you're just a number and a chip. They're trying to get cryptocurrency. No, the others are pushing back. So there's almost like an invisible, not war, but there's invisible fighting and pushing already. And it's things like celebrities being exposed. Hollywood was supposed to be one of the most powerful powerhouses in the whole world. In that, if we could look through the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, it's become a sham. The royal family, these things are being exposed to show that there should be no hierarchy or structure. This should show that women shouldn't have to be subjected to humiliating behaviour that's been going on in Hollywood since and children. Everything is coming out. The underbelly is being exposed. And so it's not pleasant. And that's where people could lose their courage. But we've just got to say, brilliant, when the next celebrity gets exposed, when the next political leader gets exposed. I've got a feeling that we might have a Clinton episode, because I've been told about that. I have got no clue what's going on in the world. I heard that Trump was in Scotland a few days ago, but that was a follower. I don't know. But it's all coming out. And it's not, oh my God, the world's getting worse. It's exposing the people that have got a say in how our planet is run. And we will get so much more. Again, the people that write in saying, what is this? Well done. That is one of your galactic friends. That's a UFO, if you want to call it that. I hate calling them UFO. They are our friends craft visiting us. Well done. So much of that. So many people are seeing alien crafts and even alien beings, visiting them, manifesting in their rooms. It's brilliant. Don't fear it. They're saying, hey, you're nearly here. You're nearly as pure and enlightened as we are. But a few shifts need to make, and then we're rocking it with you. And then this is the other thing. Do you remember when we had the drone thing, which was a total psyop? We had the drone thing going on, and I remember seeing something flash up, because it's inevitable. Now and then you're going to get something flash up on your phone, when you turn it on. And the first thing I noticed in the first paragraph was abduction, killing, attack, defence, all sorts of things. All of the scare words were in the first paragraph about alien life. And I looked at it, and that's all I saw were the fear words: killing, abduction, attack, world dominance. And I'm like, what? Because they fear. As soon as we connect to our galactic friends on that telepathic level as a collective consciousness, they're in trouble, because they can't control anything anymore. They're shooting them down and doing all the horrible things to them, and they're trying to justify that by saying they want to take our planet over. They're not. They're benevolent. There are structures in place to protect us from any negative beings. Otherwise we would have been taken over years ago by negative. But we're not. They're benevolent. They want us to join them. They want us to connect so they can show us how to live a better life down here, because it is too basic compared to all the other star systems out there. And the first thing is telepathy. So these people are freaking out, saying, oh my God, I had this sphere above my thing. Look, it's on my camera. This sphere was above my house. And then I heard, hello friend. Oh my God, what is it? I'm like, just chill out. You have a galactic connection. Your DNA is being activated. You obviously come from some star system and they're saying, hey, we're nearly back here. We're just saying hello. We're acknowledging you. We're looking out for you just like an angel would. We're just looking out for you. We're checking you're okay because you're a hybrid, or, you come from planet wherever. So it's beautiful. Not lose your fear, everybody, because fear, the devil, mediums work with the devil. The devil is Pam, who was one of our amazing sun deities, Everything that goes against the grain of them being able to, control us, they will put a bad spin on it. And you just got to laugh at that. You got to laugh at these people. Oh, protect yourself from what? I didn't protect myself when I was a baby, and my whole family are all medium psychics and whatever. So, if I didn't protect myself as a baby from all the negative demons, who did? My guides and angels. You don't have to protect yourself from anything. The only thing you have to protect yourself from are other human beings, their energy. That's it. All the rest do the other work, or you can attract it in. You can attract negative energy in because the karmic fields are so quick. If you're a negative, nasty, evil person, you will get it straight in your house if you want it. If you're not, you won't. It's that simple. You wouldn't invite a crack-dealing burglar into your house for a cup of tea, would you? So why would the laws of the universe do the same? You attract what you give out, darlings, and that's so important for people to know that who are listening. Okay, stop. Did you know, just on a very, sorry, I know I go on, darling, but did you know that I remember when I was a kid, I went into this church visit with the school and everybody put their hands up. What's it like being a priest? What's it like? What does that cross mean? I went, how many exorcisms have you done? And they're like, oh. I went, what? I'm just asking. So he's looking at me like, there's the trouble one. And he wouldn't answer me, so I kept going back, and then eventually I started talking to him just on an interest basis. And I used to go in there and get holy water, and he said to me, the highest amount of people that are subject of exorcism are religious people. And he said, why do I think that? And he said, because every single day their energy is about the devil. They are praying against Satan, this apparent energy. They're praying against it. They're desperate and fearful that it will come to their house. So their energy every single day is aligned to that negative vibration.
Holding it in their awareness.
Exactly. So when people say to me, oh, don't you worry about the darkness, don't you? Well, yeah, I know it's there. I've seen it. I've seen demons. I've done it. But I chose to go in its space. But they would never come near me because I'm not in that energy. How could I possibly connect a negative energy into my energy when I'm up here in the light? It's not going to happen, is it? So people need to get their head around that and lose the fear of what they've been shown. Every TV show, screaming, crying, and all this, and this, the devil. Come on now. It's just another frequency that resonates through the ecosystems of some very corrupt and evil people. That's all it is. And the only way it can manifest is if you invite it in, offer it a cup of tea, and you're as nasty as it is. That's the only way. Or the land is still tainted, which I've had to deal with. I've done hundreds and hundreds of house clearances. But most of the people that I've ever been to that have got a negative entity in their house are either drug dealers, or there's violence going on, or they're real a-holes. And I walk in and think, yeah, you've just invited this. You've left the door open, left the lights on and run a bath for it. Because they're like nasty people. It's very rare to go to a negative space unless they've just moved into it or they've done something stupid and invited something in. But yeah, it's got to be there for the yin and yang of the planet. But you don't invite it in, do you? You go in and investigate it out of curiosity, which I've done many times. I've gone into very dark places just to encounter what it's like. And then I've come out of it again and left it to it. That's how you deal with it. Don't make it an, oh, is it attached to you? Or will it follow you? Or, do you know how much it takes to attach something to you? It's really hard energy. You'd be really tired. You'd know straight away. People have got to lose the fear. And this spirit trap that people talk about, the soul trap, the reincarnation trap, it's because they're trying to put fear into us because we're becoming awake and aware. It's that simple. And fear can herd people into their little fields, their little rooms and their little boxes. Lose the fear.
Nicky, I wanted to just ask you one more question, if that's okay.
Of course.
Your shop's called Karma, and I wanted to tune in. How do you know if the action you're taking is accruing karma or if it's unwinding karma?
Brilliant question. Brilliant question. When you are not on your right path, nothing will flow. You will still feel frustrated. Nothing happens. So I always see the hangman in tarot. Okay, you literally, everything stops, nothing flows, and you keep looking at different perspectives and still there's nothing you can do to improve it. Bad luck, it's like, oh, I can't believe that. I'm late for that because this happened. Nothing's right. You're just sitting in this energy of stuckness. And then as soon as you change your decision, so on a personal level for me, I wanted to run. I was harassed so badly by Darren's family. Every day, every hour, I needed to run. So I went back up to my family in Essex. I'm like, right, I've got to move, I've got to run, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. So I put my house up for sale before I left here in September last year. Not one sale, bearing in mind I am right by the beach. It's a beautiful space, it's all been newly done. And not one sale, nothing. And nothing flowed with it. The gardener couldn't make it. Then someone couldn't make it to do the painting and someone couldn't make it this. I'm like, why is it such a struggle? Why? And I sat in the energy, couldn't gauge it because I was grieving still badly. 10 months later, I'm thinking, you need a reality check on this, Nicky. So I sat in the energy, and all the energy is, sitting in the energy sounds so hard. Just sit in silence and go, right, show me what's going on. What do I feel about this situation? I could feel it straight away. I wanted to run. I've always had to run. And I thought, no, I'm not supposed to run now. I need to settle. I need to regain my strength. Obviously, something's coming up, which was karma, the crystal shop, and all the other stuff that's coming up. And I'm thinking, I just need to stop. I need to stop worrying about where to go to, where the next point is. I need to stop and let it go. Nicky, you've been taught this your whole life. Stop wanting to run. Stop trying to change the periphery of what's going on around you. Let them take it over. So I literally said, I don't know what I want at the moment. I really do want to know if I should get another little fur babies, little company. I don't know if I need to move or not. I'm going to leave it to you. And then the following day, I did a couple of angel cards that said Hangman and Four of Swords, which is obviously solitude, just chilling out, and the Hermit, which was my card, Virgo, and taking a step back. And on that, I've always changed every biggest part of my landmarks in my life on the chuck of a card after I've literally done my meditation or got affirmation. So I phoned up and said, take it off the market. Really? I went, yeah, it's not right. It's not right. It's not happening. It's not happening. I need to stay here now. So everybody's expecting me to do this great move. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it now. Why? Because the angels told me and the angel cards told me. They're like, oh my goodness. And then puppy comes along, and then I've seen this house, which is beyond my dreams. And I said, well, it'd be nice to have it, but it's not a massive thing for me. But if the universe feels that I deserve it and it's a place of, solace and sanctuary, by all means, create it for me. Thank you very much for my new home. If you want me to have it, gone. And then I just wait for it to come. And then I get a phone call the following morning. I say that from a very old estate agent that says, we've got two people really wanting to live down your road. I know that you're not up for sale, but do you want them to come and look? And I'm like, and then I get the picture of my dog and I'm like, okay, you want me to move? I'll go. I never know what I'm going to do in life. People say to me, what are you going to do? I said, don't know. Ask them. Don't know. And that is so exciting, isn't it? Not to plan everything. It's so exciting that something bigger than any of us is helping you to drive your way forward in your life to abundance, happiness, love, security. That is just I love it so much, I can't tell you. And yet I see other people, and this goes right back to the first question, the people, and this is no disrespect to anybody grieving, please, 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 please don't ever think that, but they potentially still could be laying in their beds, drinking, overeating, using drugs for, prescription drugs, not knowing what to do, completely depleted and completely annihilated. I am inside. He was my soulmate. He was a love of my life. He was my twin flame. I could feel and know everything he ever did, same way round, from the day we met. However, you manage it. You don't ever lose it. You manage it, and you allow the light and the divine energy to hold you and take you forward. So that's the difference between 3D and 5D. They're mostly still sitting there thinking, what the hell just happened? Why me? I miss them so much. I do. But that is not my whole reason for being, to grieve that trauma. It's how do I work myself and love myself enough to get away from not wanting to lay under a duvet every day with a bottle of wine. I didn't go to any of those lengths. I honestly thought I would. I thought I'd want to go and get drunk, drink loads of wine, but I can't because my new body won't accept it. I'm rubbish at drinking now. As a detective, I was literally such a heavy drinker, on the board of alcoholism most probably, but I am so rubbish. I'm a cheap date, Amrit, darling. Just in case you come over here, I'm a cheap date. Sorry to your wife, but I am. Oh dear, my mouth does run away with me, sweetheart.
Thank you. I mean, thank you so much, really, for such an incredible podcast. I mean, such a great conversation, and thank you so much for your time and energy here today.
Oh,
and yet it's so difficult to sort of just, that feels like such a narrow beam when, this is, thank you so much for sharing yourself so openly. This is your entire life's work, generations, you could argue, worth of work of your own family and heritage, and then all the support and guidance, and just bringing us closer to all of our own support and guidance. Touch wood. Nikki, thank you so much for who you are. Really appreciate you.
Oh, bless you. And you know what? Thank you for having me here. You are enabling people like me that really just started this journey online to help reach souls that need it. So God bless you for having me here, and bless you for standing by what you were brought to you to do, because you can be told 100,000 times, do this, and your fear stops you, and you didn't. And so namaste, and I so respect you for that. And you are a darling for allowing me to talk on and on and on. Bless you. Your energy is sublime, and you're going to do nothing but go from strength to strength. I promise you. You are on the portal medium line, and the inspiration you bring offline as well to all of your, I adore you. Thank you for allowing me my space, and thank you for our spaces to converge. It's been an absolute honour. Thank you, my darling.
You inspired souls, lumen beings, you've obviously enjoyed this episode. You've made it all the way through to the end, so do give it a thumbs up and a like on the video. It votes for more content like this online. Thank you so much for your support. And talking about the support, my goodness, thank you so much for, thank you so much for all the subscriptions to this channel, Touchwood. Each and every single one of you is co-creating this channel with us, right? This channel would not be what it is without your support. Everything you see around here is powered and empowered by your subscription to the channel. So thank you so much for your incredible love and support. And to all of you that haven't yet subscribed, and some of you who have thought that you've subscribed, haven't yet subscribed actually, take a look. There's a subscribe button just down here. If it says subscribe, you're not subscribed actually. So hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon, join the movement, join the community, make the movement move. Help support the love, positivity, and wisdom move around the planet through your ongoing support. Thank you so much in advance for doing so. And talking about support again, if you want to dive into community, if you want to dive in even deeper, right? Meeting like-minded, like-hearted souls who are having conversations just like the one we're having here on the podcast amongst each other, join us in the Inspired Evolution Community Circle. It is such a beautiful space. We launched it. We reached 250,000 subscribers here on the channel to celebrate. And it's just been an incredible space. Once a month now, you get to sit with the guests and ask your questions directly. Nicky's going to be on next month, so feel free to join us and have a chat with her. Really excited for that to happen. And I know the audience is going to have some really great questions. So join us on the inside for that. Once a week, I sit down together, we meditate. There's community sharings, community offerings. There's a lot of good juju going on, touchwood, in that space. So come join us, check us out on the inside. That's inspiredevolution.com/circle. It'd be awesome to meet you on the inside. And now on screen, to keep your inspirations flowing onwards, upwards, and inwards, Pam Gregory was an incredible podcast that we had on this episode for people to check out and dive in deeper. Also, Lee Harris, another channel that did an amazing episode on the future of where we're headed. This is just for the short to mid-term future. This is for the long-term future of where we're headed. Check out either episode. So take your pick, make your click. I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you there.